And we are back. Didn't miss a beat, guys. Absolutely smooth transition. I would say hit refresh, but if you haven't refreshed, you're not hearing this, guys. Back to the action anyway. We have ace-3 of spades versus pocket sixes. Cutoff.
Nice football in. Very big hand. Very big hand.
And on the flop of Jack 4-4, pocket six is still the best at it. Harry is going to have a lead at this one. This is an interesting line. Pocket sixes, I don't think, going to be concerned at all, really. This is only a few big blinds anyway. Does make the call. And now on the turn with the ace tray, in kind of no man's land, it's going to be a tricky one to navigate. Probably seeing a lot of checking from Harry at this stage, unless he's got a plan in mind. The issue with leading here is I'm not sure that's how we represent a jack or a four, so it's difficult for us to end up having a lot of good hands unless that's how we're going to proceed with those, and our opponents kind of know that. Harry is reaching for chips here. Does the double lead work? That doesn't look like tons of chips, though. Is that 75K? Yeah, 75K, 3 of those white chips. Blue chips, excuse me. And this just might work. As I said, playing ace tray as a lead on this texture is an unusual one. However, if you're going to have the gumption to go again, you're going to get hands like pocket sixes to fold a fair amount. Although Bernard might still be thinking, why would he lead a jack? Why would he lead a four? It is just an unconventional line in general. Does get it done. Hey, kudos to Harry there. Does make the line work for him. So on to the next hand, guys. We got some commentary joining in just a moment. Bear with us as we try and line up our first guest today. Question in the chat here. So how much is first place in US dollars? First place approximately 75,000, 76,000 US dollars. It was a 500,000 Filipino peso buy-in. That's approximately $8,000, $9,000. 8.6 as of this morning. 8.6K USD. Hey, special shout out to first-time chatter Bernard Vu in the chat. Hello. If names are to be correct, Bernard is currently on screen. But yes, Thomas, as I mentioned, there is no delay on commentary. We are live with you in the room. But the actual action was recorded ahead of time. We do have more action from the APPT tomorrow and on Sunday, but those will be simply delayed. Action kicks off around midday UK tomorrow, 12 o'clock. BST is the current classification,
Perfect.
British summertime. Depending on where you are in the world, align your clock to that. And essentially, we'll be joining the penultimate day tomorrow. And then we will have coverage of the conclusion of play on Monday, right to the bitter end.
Nice, nice, nice.
Or the sweet end in this case.
Nice.
Hello, poker fans. What's up, Curly Master in the chat? Hello. Always a pleasure. Thank you to everybody for joining us again. The APPT jumping right into the conclusion of the Spin and Go Showdown we've been hosting on the PokerStars Central channel.
Fucking guys.
You it's just call, right?
Call.
You love call.
And aces for Seiji, our chip leader. Was this a call under the gun from Harry? Just a flat from UTG, six-handed, no big deal. Now, Seiji, I'm assuming he's going to want to pump this up. Just going maybe 80K, that's my guess. Is that 65, he said? There it is. 65K. Actually, I didn't realize he was in position. I was thinking he was in the big blind. That makes more sense. Just pumping it up around 3x the initial big blind, and indeed that limp as well under the gun.
You want to change one?
Harry playing a very unconventional
Okay.
style. Let's see if Harry has a move here. Doesn't look like he's going to be entering the pot somehow, though. He's got a grin like, I probably made a mistake here with the limp, and there you go. He's going to let it
I
go.
think you want to change one.
Oh.
I think you want to change one. Very nice. Hey, hey.
Sorry for the tapping behind the scenes here, guys. We are trying to line up our next guest. Just doing some admin while we cover the first level here. 20K to go. We're still at 10K, 20K. And there's the raise from the hijack. Makes it 65K to go, so is actually sizing up the open here, perhaps targeting some of those shorter stacks behind, trying to generate more folds. And this is a really nice exploit, actually, from Seiji. I appreciate the move to size up. Might be a little bit big for my taste. I think we can apply the same kind of size up pressure for a smaller open.
Oh, can I touch?
But if it works, and it's going to work here on this occasion.
Penalty.
Nice and friendly play. I like this hat, by the way, guys. This is a cool hat. Seiji's got a real...
See? Penalty.
got a little slap on the wrist there for touching his chips.
Back to me.
Loving this action. This is nice. Queen Jack suited. Florencio repping the Philippines. This is the home team. Gonna probably kick us off with a min. Yep, there's the 40K to go. And we are going to go to the flop. It is 10-6-4. Florencio, as we mentioned earlier, has significant results. Is going to miss the c-bet, which I think is nice. 10-7, top pair. Does Bernard want to have a little lead now? I wouldn't be surprised for him to put some chips in here from out of position. And just will let it go. Lots of patience shown here with the Queen Jack. Don't mind that on the FT. ICM is in play. Reminder that Florencio Campomane is here. 2.2 million in total live earnings, representing the Filipino home team, as I said. Bernard Vu having a great time with the lead there. Those are the payouts, guys. Top 4 are paid. 4.2 million up top for first place, about $75,000/$76,000. Ace-Jack is going to kick us off with the open. Harry this time with a proper hand on the button. Ace-Jack offsuit. So exciting turn here. The King Deuce of Diamonds does pick up the flush draw. Harry still with a nice top pair. Oh, this might have been an action out of turn. It looks like Seiji. Yep, Harry a little bit excited to put chips in here with the Ace-Jack, it would seem. And now asking about what the rules are. Has to pay a time bank as well. Yeah, promptly noticing a larger c-bet from the Ace-Jack on this texture. And Seiji, with the additional information of Harry kind of running to get chips in here, and indeed sizing up the flop as well, trying to work out the best way to navigate some free cards perhaps, does have the opportunity to improve into a pretty nice hand here if the diamond falls. And is that all in? Announces all in. This might be a great spot for Harry to put the rest in right here, right now. Seiji obviously has a read. Ace-Jack absolutely can snap this off, though. It is a big, high-pressure moment. Certainly one that you want to consider at this stage in the tournament. But I am very excited to see if Harry is going to lay this one down. I would argue Seiji's line here, fairly unconventional and not one that necessarily indicates strength if you're considering most plays, you know, most of the normal patterns we see from this position. Can Harry put it together here? Going to use a couple time banks. It's a big call, guys. That is a fair amount of big blinds. It's about 25 bigs or so to call. Wow. The king deuce of diamonds forces the ace jack to fold.
That's the weirdest sound.
Was not expecting that. I thought Harry might have put the rest in, but does get the fold. High pressure moment, and the power, the aggression of Seiji just gets the job done. So at this point, ladies and gents, I'd like to bring on our first guest for the day.
Okay.
His name is Liam Hin. How are you doing today, Liam?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you, Nick?
I'm good. Welcome, guys. So Liam,
Thank you.
poker content creator, does work for a company called Game Plan, who follows many of our PokerStars ambassadors around, trying to make them look good. Also aspiring content creator. I would say that's fair to say, Liam. Wouldn't you say? I mean, I've certainly posted enough of your videos in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, aspiring is the word. Early in the journey.
Early in the journey. If you guys want
yeah.
to check him out, it's Big Lee on all of the usual platforms. Instagram is my preferred point of viewing. He's got some really good stuff out there. Go check it out. Liam, thank you for joining us very last minute and assisting me to call the action. Welcome to Manila.
Yeah, thank you.
How's
yeah.
have you tried the pina coladas yet? They're delicious.
No, I haven't. I'll have to get one. I'm a massive fan of pina coladas. It's maybe a bit too humid, though. I might just go for a standard vodka orange juice or something.
Absolutely. We'll have to hit the beach
Refresh me a
later. Yeah. Background to our chip leader now, Seiji, is going to look down at the Jack 9. And what we've seen so far from Seiji is a lot of aggression. And I would expect him to do the same again here. Hempy in the chat. Ich liebe Liam. German hype.
Thank you, Hempy.
And is going to raise to 50K. King 6 of diamonds seems like a hand you don't want to fold in this spot. Blindy blind, absolute position against the small blind.
Yeah, it seems like an easy call.
Not a lot more to call. Yep. Flop is 6-7 of 4. How does Seiji want to play this one, Liam? This feels like a slowdown to me. Yep, there's the check.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely suits the big blind here.
Yeah, and I think that there's definitely opportunities to have c-bets on these boards, right, if we want to be balanced, because we are going to want to barrel at these when we have, overcards, aces, kings, queens, that kind of thing. But we have to kind of have a plan for turns and rivers. Kind of prefer to have a gut shot here, perhaps some backdoor flush draws or something like that, I'd imagine.
Does make the call. Well,
Yeah,
there's your gut shot.
Yeah, there's the gut shot coming in. 4, 5, 6, 7. Nobody's got the ocho.
He's still got the 2 overs as well, so he's not down and out yet.
Yeah, and what's the plan now? Seiji makes the check. I would say Florencio probably not thrilled about this turn either, but does have the kind of hand where we probably just turn up on the river with the best hand too. So I think just check the turn and reassess on the river. The benefit of position. And ace of hearts on the river again. It's a question mark as to how many times Seiji turns up here with a check call with an ace in his hand perhaps. What if he has ace 8 of diamonds or something like that? Maybe an ace 3 of spades or something.
He's thinking. And from what I've seen, he has been very aggressive, so he may take a stab at it, thinking the ace is better for him.
Well, I think probably what he's assessed here is he's going to float flop, and when he gets to river here with the jack high, I think he will just go for it.
There you go.
And Seiji so far very aggressive. I think that looks like 200 and oh nope, sorry, wrong chips, wrong way. 90K, excuse me.
It's a big portion of Florencio's stack though, so it's a difficult call.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not a nice run out for the king six. Man, this is a tough spot. This is making me feel uncomfortable.
I'm sweating. Oh, he makes the call.
Lovely
Great call.
stuff. Very, very good.
Brent, he'll be happy to see the jack high.
Yeah, this is really cute. I like this a lot. Does make the king six call, and will get rewarded. And our guy is off to a fantastic start here.
He didn't look happy about it as he flipped the chip in though.
No, absolutely not. You can understand why. So, Liam, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I hope you didn't have any other super exciting Saturday plans in mind.
No, not really. I was just doing some tidying and watching the rugby. But, yeah, this is a bit more interesting. Although it's one of my first times on comms, so go easy on me.
Go easy on him, chat. All right, so we continue. Yeah, Liam, I don't know if you got a chance to see it. I know you ran on last minute, but the venue that we're playing in today is absolutely gorgeous. Did you see the wide shot by any chance?
No, they haven't cut to a wide yet.
Okay, well, when it cuts to a wide, take a look at this bad boy. If it sounds a little echoey in that room, it should, because they're playing in a 9,000 square meter, 30-meter tall glass dome on the coast of the coastal areas of the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, the dome offers breathtaking sky and Manila Bay views.
There we go, Bernard raising with the jacks there.
And is anyone going to play back here? Starts with about 1 million chips. Bernard. Now it's down to the big blind.
No customers.
Absolutely no customers, I'm afraid. But you know what? Sometimes that's better with the jacks, eh?
Oh, absolutely. You know that board's coming ace or king high when you've got the jacks in your hand.
3 ways to play jacks, and they're all wrong. No, I don't actually. I know that's a funny one. People like to say that. I don't get the whole jacks hate thing. I don't.
No, neither do I, to be honest. I quite like looking at the jacks when I see them.
Love a Jables. Man, that's a luxurious table size there as well, guys. Dealers,
I was just thinking that.
Dealers throwing throwing frisbees to try and get to those positions. We are still six-handed, guys. We are playing down to a winner today, so please lock in. And we are playing 20 hands per level as well, Liam. It's an interesting approach, but I definitely really like that for later stages. I think that's something that I think we're going to see more adoption of as we proceed.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, in particular, I think it makes more sense when we are, hand for hand and all that kind of stuff too. There's such a contentious point now, the whole stalling issue, and I think it does handle and organize and sort of manage some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seiji's not going to slow it down here. Ace-4 is opening in the cutoff, as you would expect. Chip leader doing chip leader things. Gary Thompson, a known crusher, hailing from Ireland.
Making the call there with the queen deuce off.
I'm quite certain we would have seen Gary at the Irish Open this year. Both myself and Liam were on site for that.
Yes, we were. It was a fun one.
Oh, always a banger. Irish Open. And great flop for Seiji. You'd assume just a really small continue, but I think checking has a certain appeal to it here too. I would say that the check is very unbalanced, though, Liam. I mean, if I'm Gary in the big blind here and I have a 9, and my opponent checks this flop, I struggle to understand how we would have the best hand. There's just going to be so many good hands in the range that connect with this board that might potentially check as either a trap or just to control the pot like a king, or perhaps a jack-9 suited or something. But then also all the bluffs are probably going to want to barrel away at ace-king-9 too. So it becomes difficult for him to have bluffs when there's checks.
Yeah. Check does seem quite nutted there.
Yeah. Now, you know, if you check this flop and your opponent has a king-10 or something like that, they might still stick around, but I think a lot of players will be, you know, clued up on the fact this is a texture. We're going to see a lot of just straight bluffing, bet or range betting, as we would say, right? You're going to bet with all your bluffs. You're going to bet with most of your value to remain balanced. And I would say the check is a little bit unbalanced. Doesn't really matter in this case, regardless.
No.
Just a bet and a fold on the turn.
Seiji was never getting more there.
And a look at the chip counts after those exchanges. We've certainly seen a lot of movement here. Gary Thompson, 9.5 big blinds. So the player to watch out for is going to probably end up having to put the chips in relatively soon. David Wang did manage to chip up earlier on in the tournament, but now is second from the bottom. 23 big blind stacks on the final table. Not an issue, though. Seiji running away with it at the moment. And he's playing that big stack very well. Liam, you, I don't know if you caught the hand just as you were getting online, but found a turn donk lead into top pair, top kicker, and actually managed to get the fold in a spot where I think he probably gets looked up a fair amount.
Yeah, I did see that. That was a huge fold.
Yeah, and oh wow, I mean that's going to be pivotal for the tournament as well. To collect those chips and not get punished there, I think is a huge boon for Seiji.
Yeah. I can't remember who he was in the hand with. I didn't see the name, but I know he had the ace of diamonds as well, which is interesting. You would have thought a call there would have been pretty nice, but
yeah. Apologies, by the way, Seiji. I'm sure I butchered your hand as I was bringing the introductions in. I'm thinking now it's Seiji Kikuoka. That sounds better, doesn't it? Kikuoka sounds more like a Japanese last name.
I'm not going to attempt it. To be
well,
honest.
I think I came out with Kikoka. That might work too. But my apologies. If you're here with us in the chat or you want to drop me a message, feel free to chastise me. Raise to 40K on the button. David Wang, Gary Thompson, SB, 9-7 of diamonds. Do you know, my desire to just be all in here with 9-7 of diamonds is so strong, but it's definitely probably not going to be quote-unquote approved. Going to call instead. Definitely has equity against the Queen 10 here. They are two combinations that do kind of interact, though, however, on, 8x, 9x boards, 10x boards, kind of wrapped around each other here. Oh, and
there you go.
That is a good example there. 8-10 queen, commentator's curse. Gary Thompson flopping a straight draw, top 2 for Wang, and this is a lovely spot for David Wang. There is an issue with the 9-7 here, of course, guys. You are effectively, drawing to a gut shot. The 6 is going to be clean a lot of the time as well. Of course, we are technically up and down with the 9-7. Oh, there you go. Shoving a call.
Yeah, cool, obviously.
Yeah, had a plan and actually is very unlucky to be running into top 2. Is not dead by any stretch, though. Like I said, up and down on the flop with the 9-7. What I meant to say earlier is that, the jack isn't necessarily going to be the best card for us if we do see a turn. But as played, it just is going to push. And about 27% equity for the 9-7. We have 2 cards to see here in Manila. And it is Gary Thompson at risk with the red spade in front. Ace of diamonds is clean so far for David Wang.
6 outs the one time.
An upper and a downer.
There it is.
That's an upper and a downer.
What
That's an
a
upper.
river.
Yeah, that's it. That's a straight. Unlucky for David Wang. Very fortunate for Gary Thompson. Had a plan and did get there. Unlucky, but we can see a pretty reasonable outcome, or I'd say a pretty reasonable line from both players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think very often the shove on the flop from the 9-7 is just going to find a lot of folds, but his opponent finding a very, very nice top two.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think he can check there, can he? He's only got, what, 6 big blinds left behind.
Quite right. Shout out to the production team on the ground out there in Manila, by the way. This is looking gorgeous. And last year, I was asked to do APPT remotely for the first time, Liam. And we had so much fun. It was actually a really, really nice couple events. But the upgrade to be within the glass dome here, I think, is a nice touch. And now it's got me thinking we should probably go play more APPTs together, buddy. What do you think?
Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to play poker in a glass dome.
Yeah.
See the sky while you're playing.
Who wouldn't? I mean, look, we've all been to Monte Carlo, right? We've all seen La Salle des Etoiles open to the night sky, or indeed the morning sky most often. But is it open 24 hours a day? No. This is the upgrade. I jest, but I think that would be nice. If anybody at PokerStars is listening, feel free to send myself and Liam along to APPT Live. I'd be happy to do this in a live venue.
Oh, David Wang getting it in with the A6 of hearts there from the cutoff.
Yep, and you'll notice on the much shorter side now is going to just play this as a straight push. About 13 big blinds, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, should still be within that that starting stack and blind depth that we mentioned at the start of the day, 10-20. Should be an easy fold for Bernard here. But, yeah, I would be interested to see this one, Liam. The A6 suited off of 13. I wonder if we have on the FT with ICM, I think there's a chance we might have some more min-raising as opposed to pushing. The push is going to be fine for chips, of course. But I think with ICM, there's a chance we might want to do more stealing versus all-inning. But I am willing to be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you know better than I do, Nick, but I'd probably get it in there.
And there's a good chance David Wang knows better than me as well. So we're in a cascading issue of knowledge here. There's a look at the trophy, the famous PokerStars shard, APPT Manila Super High Roller Champion. That is a beautiful piece of hardware. And I will say as well, Liam, they're keeping it nicely polished. I think sometimes on the EPT productions that we handle, sometimes we need some more buffing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's looking a little smudged. People are handling the shard. Don't handle the shard. That's what I say. Keep it shiny. Keep it looking good for the camera.
I have noticed they've been reluctant to get it out before the final day now.
Exactly.
They keep it locked away.
This sounds like a joke. It's not a joke, people. We cut to a beautiful shot of the shard, and we are sort of pushing in on these rigs to make the stage look good. And there's fingerprints visibly on the trophy. Keep it shiny. All right, so we have a limp on the button from Harry Halim. Again, pretty unconventional. Harry's playing his own style here. Is going to allow both small blind and big blind to come along. I would argue that the Queen 4 suited could be a steal here potentially, although raising into one of our chip leaders perhaps just to fold and save the chips. Now, Seiji has been playing these guys pretty well. He seems to be adjusting nicely to his opponents. Does he want to take 10-5 into the raise category? Does he want to check? Just checks it up. I would say that this is probably not the kind of combo that we want to use as sort of an ISO bluff here. But off to the flop we go.
There we go. What a lovely flop for Seiji there.
This actually is a lot easier now, isn't it? Just check and make 2 pair. Bernard leads here.
And you've got the flush draw of Harry as well behind. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, and it's such a different dynamic now, Liam. When he leads 35, you're going to probably almost always see a raise here. And then that puts Harry in an interesting spot because now he gets a worse price to try and complete the flush. If I'm Seiji, I'm going to make this like at least 100K. 369. Yeah, let's make this 100K to go, and let's put ourselves in range of perhaps putting more chips on the turn for a large size. Just the flat.
Makes the call.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, I feel like when Bernard leads here, he's just going to end up having like a lot of 6x, maybe some 10x that we're obviously beating with the 2 pair, loads of flush draws, loads of straight draws. But as played, it's just an easy call. Oh, it's a street flash draw for Harry, but he doesn't need it. 2 diamonds are enough to make the flush that will give him 89%. Just has to fade the boat now from Seiji.
I wonder if Seiji will take a lead here with the 10. No, he goes for the check.
Yeah, I think, if you're going to play this slow, you need to be aware of the fact that with 2 other players in the pot, the flush is a very, very real problem, I suppose. And, it just breaks my heart. I do feel like when you see the lead from Bernard there, the 10-5 is just going to be smashing it out of the park here, and you're going to want to punish. It's kind of like your opponent is telling you that they've got a piece that they don't want to fold yet. And anyway, as played, we get to the turn. Big bet, 185K. Bets 200K. Now, you'll see Harry again with the kind of misstep. I don't know if he announced 200 and then put in a big stack or what, but dealer pushing chips back on him. I mean, Bernard must know that this is just an awful spot against 2 players.
There you go.
And now Seiji has 2 pair with a diamond as well. Oh, this is not fun. But also, if Seiji has been watching Harry's play thus far, is he going to turn up with a bluff here? Is he going to do this with, Jack 10 or something like that, It doesn't feel great, but you've played your hand slow, and your opponent certainly will have some diamond flush draws on the flop after coming along. Let's see how he wants to play on the turn.
As we've seen so far as well, he's been pretty aggressive in these spots. So I wonder if he's going to go for it.
Couple time banks used. Oh, split screen. I'm liking this. Good job, production team. This is nice. I've not seen this one before. I feel like I'm in the room, Liam.
It's great, isn't it? I wonder if Harry did make a misstep when he was betting, and that's playing on Seiji's mind at the moment as well. Another time bank.
Oh, he's all in.
Goes for the shove.
Harry, do not fold this time, buddy. You cannot fold this time. Yes, makes the call.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Seiji with the move. I don't know if I like this, Liam. I don't know how we get called by much worse on the turn. We're going to have people crushed. We don't need to turn our hand into a bluff necessarily. I mean, look, it is 2 pair. It is a 2 pair with a diamond blocker, but I don't know if this was the move I was expecting. Anyway, we're going to the river. Diamond's looking really good. Oh, no. Oh, no, absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. The 10 river, we'll see. Harry Halim eliminated. Very unlucky. Gets the chips in fantastic. Smile on his face. And he will exit in 6th place.
Oh man,
Wow.
you just got a feel for him in that spot.
Absolutely brutal. So no payout for Harry. We are only playing 4 positions here. It was a 19-player field, so one step closer to the money, but super unlucky. So Liam, again, just going back to that, look, the check raise on the turn with the 2 pair, I think you're probably going to have the best hand a fair amount. Oh, there's a look at the dome, by the way, while we're here.
Oh yeah, lovely.
And a look at our chip counts.
Nice
But yeah,
answer.
Liam, I'm just thinking to myself here, we probably are going to have the best hand a lot. If we shove, we probably get called by better quite frequently. We might even convince some other 2 pairs to fold, or maybe some top pairs with diamond draws or whatever. But even if we make it to the river, if we just call and make the boat, there's a chance we still win the whole stack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Harry was folding the queen high flush there
Sure.
to any river, to be honest. But we'll never know.
I guess
They
we'll
got it
never
in on the
know.
turn.
The way it went down, very unlucky, but fortunate for the Japanese player. Seiji was our chip leader, now must be absolutely running away with it.
You know, when your luck's in, it's in.
It is. Tom, our power mod in the chat, saying this never happens live. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
This is a classic online spot.
David's got it all in with Queen 10 from under the gun. Queen 10 suited, that is.
Yeah, and, you know, look, again, Queen 10, the spades here in this situation, not a completely ridiculous shove, but I think in the context of the final table is a bit problematic.
On the bubble as well, you said
Yeah.
it's 4 paid, right? So it's...
We're on the direct bubble, and let's say that you min-raise here, Liam, with the Queen 10 of spades, right? Actually getting action with this hand, not the end of the world, because it's beautiful, it plays well. What if 3 players go all in behind you, and you can just guarantee yourself the ladder into the money, you know? I do wonder, again, David Wang, a player with significant live earnings, mentioned earlier his 2 best ever results were this year, runner-up in a 5K for 112K and 24th in a 50K PLO high roller for 100K. That was this summer. David Wang, definitely a more experienced tournament player than I, so keep an eye on those moves.
Yeah, very interesting. Especially, yeah, they are on the bubble. ICM involved.
Yep. And absolutely willing to be wrong on those 2 guys. Just highlighting those for my own study, if anything.
20, yeah.
Pretty house.
I think everyone thought it was 25.
Yes. Yeah. Ask for 1 blind.
And I believe we are going to be blinds up, guys. I think it might be this hand or perhaps the next. I think it's this hand. So it's 10K, 25K, 25K, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see in just a moment on the graphics.
I thought it was 25.
Yeah. So next time, if it's 20 in the middle, can you give it so we don't? Yeah. We thought it was 20. Yeah.
But if
The big one
it's
is
20,
different.
give change for the anti-fire.
Yeah, we thought it's 25. Yeah. We all did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like 10K, 25K is in place now. 20 more hands at this level before the blind increase.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Big difference.
It's
Yeah, big difference.
12.5. Yeah.
I would have pulled it a little bit fast. I hope nobody sees this stream to see how much money I am.
And it looks like we've seen the raise from Bernard. 55K, smidge over the min.
Older than the guy that jammed the first 3 hands.
Yeah, it's a mega statement.
Seiji's just going to call in position.
It's a mega statement.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
lovely spot there with the Cowboys for David.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are we looking at here? 12 bigs. I think there's a chance we might just see the all-in. Yeah.
Here it goes.
And that's not to say that I think that we shouldn't have some non-all-inning. It's just that I think that the non-all-in actually might end up looking significantly stronger off of such a short stack. You try to imagine David Wang having a 3-bet squeezing range off of, 12 big blinds. Seems pretty thin. I don't think he's going to have a ton of 3-bet bluffs in this spot, so probably best to put it in the shove category and look, quote-unquote, weakest.
Hello, all in man. Hello,
Yeah, Seiji's going to Hollywood here, and I think probably a mandatory fold with the jack high, but let's wait and see, Liam.
He could be feeling frisky. You never know.
You never know. Did just come off that rivered 10, that rivered boat. I mean, honestly, you're probably feeling real good about life right now. It was a cooler, to be fair, as well. To be fair to Seiji, I'm somewhat critical of the turn shove, but it's a spot where you're going to have the best hand a lot of the time. So I understand the line, but when you run hot in a poker tournament, especially a super high roller, you're just having a great time.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I can only imagine as well, Liam. We're both in the same boat, don't you worry. We're just doing the comms. There's a reason why we're on comms, guys, and we're not in the super high roller.
In that big glass dome in Manila, yeah.
I never thought that playing poker in a glass dome was something I wanted, and now I've never wanted anything more.
That's because there's no windows in most of the casinos.
That is true, actually. I'm reminded of a UK IPT that was played in Blackpool, which was held in a Grosvenor casino, and the Grosvenor casino being primarily, a conventional classic casino build, somewhat dimmed lighting, kind of a darker environment inside. And I was so much looking forward to playing a nice long day of poker. Tournament was kicking off around midday. Get in there for midday, play for what feels like 9 hours. What time is it? Oh, it's about 3 o'clock. I was ready for bed. It was so dark in that venue. And, I think we're actually quite lucky. When we follow the EPTs, we have really nice, bright environments. The Irish Open as well, can we just say, what an absolutely beautiful poker venue. We got those huge sort of aircraft hangar buildings that we play in. Really, really bright, really airy, lots of natural light coming in. And, looks like they're playing into the evening here, but I'm sure that during the day that's a nice spot to play as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Raksha would have been there as well. She was there in Blackpool. That's right.
I wonder if it gets too hot in the big glass dome, though, when the sun's beaming down.
You know what? I have a sneaking suspicion that there's some kind of fancy technology where that doesn't happen. I mean, even if it's just lots and lots of air conditioning. But based on what I've seen from Okada, both in this venue and the previous venue from last year, they seem to do things right. Really, really stunning venues, really nice hotels as well. Raksha, yeah, you remember correctly. It was mostly just watching me and GJ play backgammon. That goes to show you how successful that event was for me. Curling Master says, Nick is from the UK when air conditioning is fancy technology.
Well, it's very sparse in the UK.
It is. It is. I don't suppose you got the air conditioning set up at your spot. I mean, I know that your studio is essentially a sauna.
Yes, it gets horrendously hot in here. I decided to paint the entire room black, so in the summer it just holds the heat in horrendously bad. But no air conditioning, unfortunately.
Gary Thompson is in the small blind. He's got 9-4 off. Lets it go.
Spidey.
Walk with the ace deuce for Bernard.
Walk in the park.
I don't know it.
Walk in the dome.
Huh?
I don't know it.
A 9?
Yeah.
So Liam, I mentioned earlier, aspiring content creator. You've been making some fun poker related content on the Big Lee account. What's been your favorite piece so far?
Out of the ones we've made, I did. I don't know if you saw the hand history I did the other day with the teddies.
I don't think I've seen that one yet. I gotta update myself. You got to keep tagging me in those, mate. I'm always happy to share.
I'll have to tag you. But yeah, we did a hand history. When we were filming it, I thought I was going crazy for a while there, to be honest. But it was quite a fun piece.
Talking to teddy bears on your own.
Yeah. And then the practice makes perfect was quite funny as well.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a really fun one. What's been your most well received? What was the most viewed one?
I think it was the first one that came out, the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
skit
that we did at the very
one.
beginning. hot out the gates.
You don't like me?
It was novel, obviously a new thing. Everyone shared it and stuff, so it was really cool.
Right.
It's very nice.
So now just building the audience. But,
Yeah.
you know, we've got a lot in the pipeline.
Nice.
I'm lucky.
Liam's also been super helpful. I got him involved to try and help me put together my 50K challenge
55.
content that is now up. I'm doing a 50K spin and go challenge, and I'm doing updates on the short form. So
Not anymore.
YouTube Shorts and Instagram and TikTok now, brand new account there. Assisted me with some of the editing quirks to try and get that over the line. Did you see the final edit? Did you like my handiwork?
I did, Nick. I did. I thought that was very good. I hope the file was... I mean, you obviously managed to make that from it, so...
Yeah. No, it was
Yeah.
great. It was great. There were lots of little elements that drag and drop were great. We got a spot here, guys. Sevens versus the 10-9. And Bernard so far has been the kind of player who just bets when he kind of thinks he has a piece, and I wouldn't be surprised to just
There
say
he
bet,
is.
take it down. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it is interesting, Liam, when we watch these events, you know, you start to really get a feel how certain patterns sort of also lend themselves to other patterns, right? So we saw the lead there a moment ago. Bernard had the 8-6. He had the middle pair in a multi-way pot, small blind. Just had a little lead at it, you know, kind of betting to see where he's at. And I think when you start to see that, you do also tend to see bets like this as well. And that's not to say it's bad, not a criticism. I think that actually quite often, especially in a live setting, just having a bet like that when you've got the sevens is going to be a fine way to proceed, and it does give you the information required to proceed with the rest of the hand.
Yeah, and you immediately are on the front foot trying to make the other guy make a decision, right? So,
Yeah. I think a lot of people will get really bogged down as well with, you know, what's the GTO approach there. I would imagine, you know, perhaps not in that spot, but in some of these situations you're going to have more checks, but it does complicate the tree because then it impacts on how players will play in position. So, you know, in the previous spot, bet with the 8-6 found out very quickly where he was at by the turn. In this spot, I think the sevens bet is going to be totally fine, though. You're going to get value from the other pairs that are beneath, and you're going to start building the pot with what will be the best hand quite often. Seiji, small blind with the queen deuce. So far has been quite prone to stealing blind v blind.
there you go, just as you say it.
In the art show, Liam or John G.
Liam. Yeah.
We'll be like 10 years ago, or 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, I remember Liam. But I haven't seen him in like 10 years.
And
He does cover him 4-1, so
Yep.
putting the pressure on.
Still, like, he comes here.
yeah, I think that, you know,
Big enough, he comes
I like you.
Because I have Braha.
But, like, he does, he's not really drawing.
trying to hear what they're
How about
saying.
this
I
one?
didn't know Macau together.
I don't know. How about you? How do you think?
Irish.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah, let me have this one.
stay here.
Thank you.
Wow, just lets it go.
He'll be like forever.
Just decides against it. I thought that any suited hand would sneak into the call there, but Jack 3 was bottom of the range there, apparently. Could also be to do with their table talk as well. But yeah, Seiji is really getting away with a lot here, but I do like the shift to the aggression. That's what we like to see from our big stacks.
And you've got to do it as well, you know, especially blind v blind.
No, not okay.
Take those spots.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
I'm French. French? Yes. Paris? Toulouse. South of France. Oh. But I live in China. You live in China? I live in China.
You just speak Chinese.
Your accent is so French.
一点。
Ah,
In Shawnee
568
County.
998
the man. What's it again? 370?
How many years? Oh, long time. Long time? First time, maybe 20 years ago, I arrived. Yeah, I arrived in China. How old are you? Guess. Maybe 21? 21 years old? Thank you, bro. Yeah. 20 years old boy have a billion cap. Louis Vuitton cap. 20 years boy. My parents is rich.
So a raise from the blinds. David Wang with the 9-6 offsuit.
As a poker player, because
Just going to decide against it here. Florencio did relinquish in the previous spot, but has managed to make the steal work for him here.
I'm businessman.
There you go, to getting those chips back he lost.
You're
Really?
you professional.
You like the
You're
same?
professional.
No, I'm recreational.
I don't think so.
And it also induces at the same
don't
time,
think
does it?
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
Really nice vibes here at the table.
Very smart round. Picking up on
You
everything.
play in Vegas this year? You play to Vegas? In Vegas?
Vegas?
Yeah.
No Vegas. I this year.
He'll see. He'll see in 2 days.
Japan now more and more people play. They play very strong. They play well. More and more. Year after year.
Not so many fishes.
Really?
Yeah. So many.
Yeah, but the country, you are rich. Rich country, they don't care about it.
All right, back to the action. Bernard. Tom, our moderator, has also just pointed out that the graphics package is UG instead of UTG, which is an absolute nightmare for me, Liam. I'm not going to lie. Actually puts me on life tilt. We have the same problem when we do streams at the Hippodrome as well. It's UG by default, and I don't know if it's been fixed yet the last time I did it, but I was literally saying to the team, if you don't make that graphic UTG, I will never return to this stream again.
I mean, do you think they do it for uniformity? I don't know.
I don't care why they do it. Fix it. Fix it, or we're canceling the stream.
Right there, 15.
No, I'm partially joking, guys. It does really tilt me, though. But we're not quite going to cancel just yet. Chicken agrees with me in the chat. Oh, hello. Seiji's turning the trays into a 3-bet here. This is spicy. Tom says there's a limit of 2 characters, probably. I can guarantee you there is not, Thomas. Guarantee. I've seen the software. I've seen the software. You can change colors. You see all that there? They've had to set that up. You see this beautiful layout that they've done, the graphics team? You know, they got the flag. They got the values. There's a lot of customization within that graphics package. And I think adding a T is probably not the biggest ask, but there we are. We'll get it resolved for tomorrow. I'll have a word with the management. All right, let's see how the trays pan out here. Does work out. Nice hand for the trays. Seiji still flexing 2.3 million chips.
3-betting with the trays there into the other big stack at the table as well. Not scared to get involved.
Stacking in 10s as well, it looks like. A man after my own heart. I've never been a 20 stacker. 10 stacker, totally fine. Doesn't have quite the same imposing nature somehow, but there we are.
Yeah, she spoke like.
Shy.
Easy to count, though. Very easy to count.
For a man of my diminished mental math capacity, this is great for me. Absolutely great. Watch me play a cash game. Watch me stack in 10s. Or at the very least, stack in 20s with a little break in the middle so I can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Honestly, I think hearing my inner monologue when I play poker would probably astonish people. So occasionally, Liam, as well, people will say stuff like, oh, I really enjoyed the commentary the other day. I don't know how you're so quick to work out the stacks. That's really impressive. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it just comes with the job. Little do they know, it's on a screen right here in front of us, guys. We can see it. In this case, to be fair, we're working a little bit harder, but we do have a little bit of assistance. Makes us look good, along with our production team. Thank you once again to production. Love you guys. All right, King Deuce, UG.
There he goes.
So 612K. about 24 bigs.
Just makes the call. Oh,
Oh, lovely spot for David. Picking up some really cute squeeze spots. He had the kings when he was about 12 effective. And now with the ace-king, going to be very happy to be all in again, I think.
off around 15 big blinds here as well. It's
Yeah, lovely.
yeah.
The groan from the table. He's all in. And Seiji is just gonna have to let it go here. Is he out of his seat? No, there he is. I was gonna say he's already left the building. Seiji not one to avoid the Hollywood. Loves the Hollywood.
Hey, pass it, brother. What you do again?
Makes the fold. And Florencio's in a bit of a weird one.
Interesting situation.
Yeah, it might just be too much to risk. I mean, sure, he might be up against ace-king, ace-queen. But at this point, it would be a pretty serious flip.
I'm the worst.
He says I'm the worst. I think probably part of the thought process here, Liam, is he was wondering whether or not calling with the sevens in the first place was going to be, a good spot. It feels good to call with small pairs or medium pairs in position and flop a set, but we, of course, open up the door for opponents to put in squeezes like this. Now, he woke up with ace-king, right? That's not going to happen every time. I think you're going to see a flop with sevens a fair amount from that position. You're going to be able to play the sevens as a regular hand, too. You're not playing strictly fit or fold. You're not just going to try and flop a set or fold outright. But, yep, there it is. Did call, did shove, and it's another big pickup. David Wang has found a lot of really nice spots to be all in and has managed to chip up a fair amount. Obviously got unlucky with the queen 10 just now against his Irish colleague there at the table, but is now going to be back up to around, let's say, 19 or 20 big blinds, I guess.
Yeah, picking up quite a lot of nice dead money at the moment.
There's another shot at the trophy, looking very nicely polished.
Safe.
I want to see that one. What hand number was that? Gee,
Do you think they polish it more or have less people touching it? What do you think?
It's probably a little bit of both. So I'll tell you a funny story about Manila, Liam. I've never been before. I would love to go. In fact, I might even try and travel for one of these events because they look so good. I'm told by players that have attended events in casinos such as the Okada and Cove Okada, apparently they're really hot on etiquette, like super hot on etiquette, and that means everyone's super on form. So if you act out of turn, even if everyone agrees, it's just, oh yeah, sorry, just wasn't paying. It's sorry about that. It's like an immediate penalty, like no questions asked. They run a really, really tight ship.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that even though some people think it's a bit harsh, it certainly keeps people in line. Speaking of that venue, look at that, surrounded by this pool. Oh, it's absolutely magnificent. Quick look at the overall chip counts, guys. Seiji up top, 92 big blinds. Gary Thompson is our shortest stack. 15 big blinds, definitely spinnable, though. One double will see Gary Thompson up to approximately third place from this standpoint. Look at that. I am very jealous. Still action going on the side tables, by the way. We have main event to cover, of course, tomorrow and Sunday, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a shot of the main event playing into the final 2 days.
This could be a spot for Gary to get that double you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering if I were to win this event, for example, and jump in the pool, what's the penalty on that? That's what I want to know.
Well, you're already out of the tournament, so they can't kick you out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, checkmate, Manila. Checkmate, APPT staff. All right.
Yeah, Japan or Taiwan.
Gary Thompson is going to do the effective all-in
Last
here.
year, so. Yeah.
And does take it down. Nice one. Yeah, I think if you're going to have a push there as well, I prefer that one. We did see a couple pushes from David Wang just now, didn't we, for the entire stack. Having the all-in off the shorter stack there and leaving yourself with the getaway for the min cash, I think is actually really nice.
Yeah.
I used to have.
And he left a bit more behind than just the one chip that a lot of people do as well.
Yep.
So if he did have to get out of the way, he's still got a chance to spin it up.
Yeah, exactly. I do think final table is really nice approach there.
Especially on the direct bubble right now.
Right? Don't forget it, guys. 5 players remain, but we are not in the money yet. One more elimination will take us up into 4th place. 4th place money today is $20,300 US. Don't ask me to do the conversion, please.
My German there is very bad.
Just call up your Filipino link and ask if he wants to buy any pesos. No problem.
I don't like mainland Chinese player.
You don't like?
Yeah, but Taiwanese is so good.
Yeah,
Nice player. Mainland Chinese is
You shout?
only bad. Not good.
Aggressive?
There we go. We're going to see a flop.
We're about to see a flop. And King 7, top pair. I would imagine David just wants to have a little bet here right on the flop. Start with maybe one big blind.
There you go.
Yep, lovely. Not really too much stress. Got a question in the chat here. And MP says, is this live? So yes or no?
Normally raise.
Well,
Respect the limit.
we are indeed absolutely live, guys. However, we are watching a replay of the Super High Roller final table that concluded on Thursday evening. Thursday evening UK, I should say. Tomorrow's coverage, it will be the main event, the penultimate day, and indeed the final day on Monday. But that will be actually simply on a normal delay. A slightly extended 3-hour delay, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
That's important.
It's showtime? It's showtime?
Showtime.
Big pot.
You
Come on.
too.
You
Big-
too. You too. You too. Big pot.
Yeah. Good.
Just do it.
Style points on the fold there. Nice one, Bernard. I think there's a chance Bernard Vu is actually in the chat with us if he's still hanging around. And MP, yes, we are live, buddy. It's all good. Sometimes we're talking about other things and we can't immediately answer your question. I hope you appreciate that, and thank you for your patience. Also, hope you enjoy your ban. And you're banned. Just kidding. We'll see you in a minute. All right, so back over here, we get Seiji with the raise. That's the cutoff. Gary Thompson suited 4-tray. We have seen Gary pretty willing to defend big blinds with a wide range. Facing that smaller open, I wonder if 4-3 will sneak in there. I think he probably is going to consider it. Does let it go on this occasion.
Showtime.
He thought about it.
Showtime. Showtime.
He
And I
did.
thought
He
better of
did.
it.
Again, Gary Thompson, the kind of player that would definitely know how we adjust our big blind defense for FT dynamics. I would argue also it's a bit different from the previous spot, Big Lee, because we are on the direct bubble, ladies and gents. 5 places, not good enough to get paid. 4 places
I
is.
had a lot of pulls that I didn't enjoy.
You gotta, if you look back at that
Yeah, it
one,
puts a
see
lot
the-
more
see
pressure
the
on the
play,
decisions,
you gotta
doesn't it?
laugh.
It does.
Probably. I think
the,
your threshold
the
is different from my threshold.
downside of being cold decked as well, if you go flush over flush or something with the 4 tray, those are the spots that you're regretting your decisions when you could have just snuck into the money in, a hand or two. We've got several stacks here that could easily get the chips in pre-flop even at this stage.
Gary completing with the 6-3 of diamonds. Oof. Bernard with the king-queen of diamonds. What were you saying about flush over flush there, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. Here's a concern.
What's the enjoyment level on that one?
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a pretty big call.
I'm table walk, but it's too good. It's too good for me to snap.
Taking it down with the king-queen of diamonds there. I don't think Gary was ever going to call there.
These two are small. I see you everywhere.
Yeah.
Macau, Los Angeles.
I remember I'm playing
Las
and
Vegas,
you
Manila.
tell me, I'm like,
Every time.
I can't believe it's you.
You follow me?
Definitely not. Definitely
I'm
not.
already married.
No problem.
You're a handsome guy, but you're not my style.
Thank you, thank you.
Everywhere I go with it. I saw you in Macau, Las Vegas,
What do you mean?
table. Here. Yeah, many places.
David Wang picking up the 8s from the cutoff.
Oh, not Owen? Last time?
Oof, and Seiji with the 9s.
Exciting?
Yeah.
You like him?
Yes, of course.
It just hit me. It's okay.
Give me a chip. I like it. Sorry.
Let's play poker.
$90.
Interesting one developing here, Nick.
Yeah, and this is the kind of collision that we might see these stacks get in, although, well, yeah, David Wang was in that sort of 20 big blind range.
Because 4 main toss.
I imagine he'll play rather cautiously, maybe just make the call. Yeah, there he goes, makes
Yeah.
the call.
Absolutely. We do have some shorter stacks out there. 8s has plenty of playability,
Oh my God.
and I do think this is a nice adjustment for the FT and the ICM implications thereof. Oh, Jack 10, Jack. So both players probably not hating this flop. It's not great, but it's also not a nightmare. Sometimes the pairs will be good here. Some backdoors available as well.
You eating and you don't share with us? You eating and you don't share with us?
Starts out with a really small bet here, just over the min.
Yeah, David making the call. Coming along. See another one.
Yeah, definitely can't be folded just yet. Turn is the 3 of hearts, so really no change in the dynamic here.
I'd imagine Seiji will keep his aggression up, as he's tended to do on this table so far.
Yeah, and he kind of had a blocker bet size on the flop. Does he just continue the same pattern and kind of just betting, you know, like 90K here or something? Oh, there you go.
There you go.
It's this sort of pattern of, you know, 9s are probably good here. Just bet small, kind of control the pot. It's the same situation on the flop as it was on the turn now. So David's probably just going to want to call again. This is not a completely ridiculous hand to turn into a bluff, though, right? If we see Seiji size down again, right? If he just bets like 100K on this river, you know, we start to wonder if this is really how he would play a jack. Is this really how he would play aces or kings or queens or whatever? And, you know, we might start to turn some of our range into a bluff. Now, I think eights might end up being a bit too strong for that. Again, it's really, really tricky to know, and it's going to be so different from player to player. But if Seiji bets 100K now, I'm just going to quit the stream. That's it. I've called it. Two streets called correctly, and we're done.
You've been doing it too long, Nick. You know
Well,
look.
I'm just if only I could be this good when I didn't see the cards. That'd be great. No, I jest. It's an interesting point now for Seiji. The jack and the 10 now, probably a pretty sincere fear. Is that 50K?
That's 50, yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Even
The size
taller.
down again, though, at least. Side call 50K. Yeah. Yes,
there it goes.
indeed. And actually manages to get 3 streets of value, albeit small bets.
It's good.
Yeah,
Great play.
I think there's a lot to think about in this situation, Lee, because I just can't imagine he's going to play that many strong hands in this fashion. The 50K on the river to me just doesn't even feel like a cautious aces, right? Sometimes players might think on the river, oh, I've got aces. I want to know. I still want to get value, but I'm worried that he has a jack. You know, I'm going to bet 150, 200, right? That seems like more of a size that would even be played like that. Some players just not having any concern about that combo and just trying to get max value from a 10 with a larger sizing. When he bets 50 on that river, you do suddenly start to feel a little bit like he's got exactly that kind of combo. Maybe it is an ace-king and they're just trying to buy a cheap river. And, you know, if eights wasn't so sort of high up, I suppose, if that's the right term, you can imagine a fair amount of like missed flush draws, missed straight draws, turning their hand into a bluff there, which is the danger. Now, let's say that was your line and you bet 50K and your opponent raises that river. Suddenly, you know, they might still start making hero calls with the nines. They might start putting that together as a missed flush draw, missed straight draw. So there's lots of levels to consider there. And you really got to know your customer to make moves. But interesting outcome.
Yeah, very interesting. And again, Seiji putting the pressure on with the Doyle Brunson. And picks it up.
Anim pa bali. 15 na yung nandito. 15 na yung nandito ng marker. So, ito, tas lima pa.
So we continue five-handed. Players probably feeling the tension now as we find ourselves on the direct bubble. Seiji, come on. King Trey of hearts on the button. Ship leader. This is the monster for Seiji at this stage.
I was going to say, I thought he was going for the big bet, and he is.
Tom asking, I wonder if they're stalling to watch the other tables. I mean, yeah, we're playing 20 hands a level here. We still have a clock on, which I think is really funny too. Clocking and hand counting, hand tracking.
I had such a strong.
Yeah, that's interesting.
keeping everyone focused. I like it. I like the style, honestly. I've never had the chance to play an APPT before, but one of my friends from here in Brighton, I've known for a long time, Sam Rizavi, would frequent the APPT often, had lots of scores over his lifetime, and he just says they're really well-run tournaments, really, really good action. One day I'll make the trip. There's a look at the chip counts. David Wang, shortest stack. Gary Thompson not far behind. In fact, 3 stacks there at the bottom. Florencio, Gary, and David very similarly stacked. That dynamic between 3rd and 5th, though, however, will be a big deal when it comes to ICM. Having just double bottom stack there will heavily impact on the way we're supposed to proceed in hands. And as I said, guys, we are on direct bubble, so keep an eye out. Ivan in the chat says, you see, the announcer didn't mention that the earth is flat because he is scared to tell the truth. That's right. I work for the elite, guys. What do you expect me to do? My hands are tied. This dome is a perfect recreation of flat earth. This is it was originally built as a flat earth model. This was the original project, just to see what it would look like in scale. And then they decided to turn it into a casino. There you go. That's how it goes. All in, max pressure.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, raising into some shorties here. That's David Wang. King Queen suited might be enough to spin here, Big Lee.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, Florencio is going to be playing a pretty aggressive strategy here from the button, especially raising into 2 of our shortest stacks. There you go. That's a call. It's a domination situation. Now, Big Blind does not wake up with it. Gary is going to be a fold, but he's going to be loving life. We got David Wang at risk and dominated. And if Florencio holds, that means all players have scooted into the money, all guaranteeing themselves $20,000 minimum.
Ace Queen, King Queen.
Yeah, huge spot now. Both players with a nice hand, but it is a domination situation in favor of Florencio. And for the home team, we're going to the flop. It is Queen High with the Jack of Clubs. Jack of Clubs is a scary card here for the Ace Queen. I know it's only a back door, but there are a lot of dangerous turns. And going to the turn. Deuce of Hearts.
Oh.
So 3 kings left in the deck.
Will he hit one? Oh, he's...
Stand-up equity. They both take it. They cancel each other out. That's an ace, and we have a 5th place elimination. David Wang will be eliminated from this event. 5th position, no payout, but we have squeaked into the bubble now. All players guaranteed $20,300.
There you go. Shame for David.
Yeah, shame for David. So just going to see what happens now, guys. We have made it down to the final 4. All players in the money now, as I said. We'll see how they want to handle this. It is sometimes customary for players to take a break.
Alvin, we can have a little short break.
Ah, there you go.
It's okay, mate.
I think it's break after 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Is it a 2-hand break?
I think in
Maybe even more, but
They're
like,
going to
keep
debate
way
it.
too long.
Sometimes the
Take-
players can
take
request
more,
break.
I don't take Momo Brian.
Yeah. Okay, so 3 phase break.
3 hands.
After-
Okay,
after
okay,
this
okay.
level,
3
we're
hands
gonna
are on break, right?
Oh, there's away from the rail. Love to see it. It's another another perspective from the APPT Manila.
After this level, can we?
After this level, it is really a
No,
break.
it's not. He said it's not. One more.
It's not?
You
not
can,
this
you
one?
can go deal.
I want to drink wine.
Oh.
I want to drink wine, he
If we all agree,
says.
we can.
Yeah.
Hey, one hand can just take that.
Loosening up now. The
Loosen
bubble
up.
burst.
Hey, we're in the money. Let me grab a glass of wine.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's drink for
After this
congratulations.
level.
Yeah,
After the 3 hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what they've agreed, right? There wasn't a break after this level. However, they're going to take a short break after this level, which I think is 3 more hands.
Make me do the work.
I think that's what they've agreed, guys. Bear with me as I confirm, but I think that's the situation.
We're always friends.
So let's watch a little bit more poker, and then I think they're going to take a 15-minute break.
And he can get his glass of wine.
All in.
All in from Gary. With the king 9 off. Picks up the blinds.
Would you like white wine or red wine?
Red.
Red?
A French person would never say white.
Been drinking all week.
I'm alcoholic. I drink everything.
They're asking which wine you want. They're so excited. That's hand number 1 of 3, I think.
Gin.
They're already trying to select the vintage.
Blue whiskey? Whiskey and soda? On the back?
Not really soda. Like I like a nice whiskey like on the rocks is good. Or like a shit whiskey with like ginger ale.
Nice.
What do you drink, you?
On the button.
Nihonshu.
Gary Thompson lets the
Korean-
Jack-9 go.
No. Japanese sake.
Samurai sake?
Yeah, no Korean makgeolli.
Oh,
Blind v blind, it's Bernard Vu versus our chip leader Seiji in the big blind.
Sake, yeah. I like sake.
Yeah. It's healthy alcohol.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's not headache, so.
Yeah, I know. It's important for us.
I like eat Japanese food, drink Japanese.
Yeah.
Decides to find the limp here.
Sushi and sake. Nice.
Seiji, it's on you. He's talking about sake.
You don't want
Too busy talking about sake to play poker. We're about to go on a break. Get your wine then, boys.
Social game.
to talk.
It's a social game.
It is a social game. I jest, Seiji. And gonna put in a raise. King Deuce calls. These two are the deepest of the stacks at the table.
I like sashimi.
Oh,
More than
Bernard likes sashimi. All right, 9-6 queen.
belly.
And Bernard Vu does not connect Seiji with the betting lead.
it's nice aji too.
Yeah.
Yeah, aji.
Uji, I like. Yeah.
How about ikura?
Ikura?
Kids of salmon.
Yeah. I know.
You know?
I eat every 2 days.
Two checks. Seiji misses the bet, turns the ace regardless. Easy game.
Good. I like it.
He is running hot along with the aggression he's been showing.
Because talking about food.
I don't eat. I just drink soup and I eat a little. I don't eat all day. I won't eat good food.
These guys are in absolutely no rush whatsoever.
Tonight,
And I love it. It's really enjoying the game. Bets 45K. I do think perhaps Seiji could have sized up turn here, Lee. It's you imagine your opponents will have a 9, sometimes they'll have Jack 10 quite often, they'll have a queen quite often. They'll have flush draws a lot of the time with the limp call strategy and the small blind there. I think if we miss the flop bet, where I think we probably could have just gotten away with the bet in the first place, betting closer to pot on the turn probably feels more natural because we do still really punish those second pair, straight up and down straight draw, flush draw type hands.
Yeah.
Who just feel obliged to come along. And I think perhaps you're leaving a few chips out there. I think you probably can win a little bit more with the size up. And you're telling a believable story, but you're also giving yourself a way to effectively bluff the ace a little bit better too, right? If we can size up and we have the ace there, when we want to get value, then we do also sometimes price out some of the smaller pairs in hand or bottom pairs, even some third pairs once we get to the turn. So as this was a recorded session, we are watching the conclusion of the super high roller that was played out on Thursday evening. When we head to break, guys, just going to wait and see if we do indeed run the whole break. in that case, we will take a short break here in the commentary booth as well. If not, there's a chance they've actually just lopped those out so we can get straight back into the action. Let's wait and see. Because there's a chance we might be able to go straight into the next segment without breaks, but we'll see how the production has put it together for us.
Oh,
It's like maybe close now. It was good.
it's good? Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go try.
I think it was finishing at 7. I don't know what time it is.
It's 7:20.
Maybe it's finished already.
150.
Florencio playing back at Seiji there with the ace-10 off.
Dangerous.
Yep, this is nice. I'm sure he's probably noticed how aggressive Seiji has been so far, and just using those newly found chips. I think this is a nice move here.
Show money push it, fan.
Okay, you don't like food. I know.
Takes it down.
Very nice.
You cannot bluff chip leader. Never.
Cannot bluff the chip leader.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Really
One more
nice.
hand and then we can.
Yeah, I want to drink.
Okay. 55. Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this?
You took me up to Sunflower?
Huh?
You gonna took me up?
I'll try not to, Gary.
I appreciate
We
it.
are 50% of the chips on the table.
Oh, of all, you ask it from me.
Yeah.
This guy.
It's better from you though.
That's better. I know this. You doubled up from me so many times in this place. Like, at least outside, right?
Sure. Last time I was in Cove, it was like every single tournament. It was great.
That was great.
Multiple times
I
the
think
same
I paid
tournament.
you off. I think the only hand I won against you was when
Last
you
time
slow
for
rolled me and
drinking
like.
time?
It would be funny if I saw you here actually.
Let's go to the drink.
All the time, man.
It's okay, break time?
I think
We
it's
can
also
have
heavy.
break
Okay, you want it, right? Here you go.
So I think this was the third hand, guys. We're about to see if we get our full break or if there is
Good job,
indeed
Gary. Good job.
a little bit of movie magic.
Best time I've had this whole FT.
These guys are going to take an impromptu break. Should be 15
Go on
minutes
the hand.
as we take a look at that beautiful dome out there. And we'll see you guys in just a moment, perhaps. And welcome back, everyone, to the APPT Manila Super High Roller, brought to you by PokerStars and the Okada Manila Hotel and Casino. There's a look at our chip counts as we rejoin the action. Final four, we just snuck into the money. The players decided to take a short break there for 15 minutes as we got there. Those are the payouts. All of that is in Filipino pesos. Fourth place in dollars, $20,300. Third place, $30,400. Second place, $45,400. And first place, $75,800 if you do the conversion. And, of course, not just the money, but that beautiful-looking PokerStars shard engraved with APPT Manila Super High Roller Champion. It's Nick Walsh on commentary, joined today by the bad boy of poker, Liam Hind. How you doing, Liam?
I'm very well, thank you, Nick. I'm gonna have to correct you. It's Hind. I mean, it's been.
You know what? I'm not even exaggerating. I actually was about to ask you exactly that. Liam Hind. That's why he's the bad boy. He doesn't even care about his last name. He's back. Welcome, guys. We are rejoining the action four-handed, and these guys will be very pleased to know that they have all locked up the better part of $20,000, 20,000 USD equivalent. Back to the action. This is Seiji. He is currently our chip leader. We mentioned earlier Seiji, Japanese player, and relatively inexperienced, at least from a handed mob perspective. We don't know about his full background. Only 17,600 in live tournament earnings. Apparently has only just really started playing tournament poker in the last few years, and has been jumping into events all across Asia, Japan, Vietnam, Taiwan, Philippines. This is Gary Thompson, Irish flag. Experienced player, 1.2 million, has 12 flags collected on handed mob, is going to be all in here. As a shortest stack is applying pressure, blind v blind. Bernard Vu does not have the hand to play. Speaking of Bernard Vu, French player, 1 recorded live cash, and that was in the African Series of Poker, Lee.
Wow.
African Series of Poker, that sounds great, in Mauritius.
Oh, that sounds lovely, actually.
Oh, that would be so cool. And the player just off screen there is Florencio Campomanes, repping Team Philippines, 5th on their all-time money list. So very, very experienced Filipino player, actually towards the top of the all-time money list for the Filipino flag. 2.2 million in live earnings. Was the player to eliminate our 5th place finisher. That was David Wang, Australian player. But the shove and the take it there is going to work out.
I think the big question is, what did they get, wine or sake on the break? What do you think?
Yeah, of course. I should have led with that. Forget about the payouts. What wine did they select, or did they go for the sake, or was it the cheap whiskey with the ginger ale that our Irish friend was requesting? We need to know these things. In fact, production, can we get some better notes here? We need to know what they're drinking on the rail.
I think they should put that in the graphics as well. They haven't given you the tea, so and the UTG, so maybe they could give you a drink update.
This was an event recorded on Thursday evening, guys, but this is the only pre-recorded event from the APPT we're covering this weekend. We have tomorrow as well. That is going to be penultimate day of action from the main event here in the Philippines, and Monday is going to be our coverage of the main event. Both of those will be run on a 3-hour delay, so you'll see it effectively live. It's going to be myself and co-commentators, guests joining tomorrow, and on Monday it'll be Spraggy in the anchor seat. He will be our master of ceremonies, leading us to the final table and beyond. Now it's going to be a lot of this short-handed play. You guys know I love this. I love the shorter hand, shorter stack play. Bernard Vu giving up blind v blind there with the Queen 7 is interesting. I do think it's a hand that might sneak into range there. But when you are facing off against the big stack there, Big Lee, it's not looking good.
Yeah, and he's slowly losing chips as well, so he probably still wants to keep a bit of lead on the other 2 shorter stacks, right? So.
Yeah, understandable for sure. Queen 7 isn't exactly a slam dunker. Hero Fold in the chat saying streaming sit and goes now. I mean, it is a super high roller. It's not uncommon for super high rollers to be like, sub 30 total entries. But it is fair to say that this is definitely sit and go territory. 19 entries and 4 players remain.
Oh, yeah?
That's actually pretty late, isn't it?
Welcome to the stream anyway.
During our break, it was their max late.
Okay, now, tricky spot here. Gary, ace-8 offsuit. Four-handed, considerable ICM pressure. think we're going to start putting these into just raise territory. We've seen quite a few all-ins from Gary so far. And it's just going to pump it to 60. Story checks out. Just a reminder, guys, blinds are 15K, 30K, 30K, as we did come back from the end of our second level of the day.
I noticed Seiji's changed his chip stacking method as well.
Seiji was listening to the commentary in the break. We've shamed him. No, I'm just kidding. I am a sucker for that as well. The old 10 stacks. And Florencio with the ace tray here. Got about 23-ish bigs after putting in the blinds and antes. Does feel like a spot where we could peel, but I think Gary's range here is going to be quite ace heavy, and we are going to end up being quite dominated. Oh, never mind. The power poker ace tray gets the ace eights of fold. Let's go. That is a very sassy move, and I am here for it. Nice move from Team Philippines.
No consideration from Gary either. He just released it immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of what I was trying to say there is the ace eight just feels like it's too good to fold, but also just feels like it's too bad to shove, and you're definitely not going to want to see any additional elevation once you've opened.
I can have some decides. I can have some that I enjoy at main call.
Don't look at that one on stream, man.
Oh, that bad? David.
Yeah.
You got like a 3 in your hand or something?
I have a 3 in my hand. We have a 3 in our hand.
9 tray on the button. Seiji, who so far has just been very, very happy to open most of his range, does finally find the bottom of it, I think.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see him try something funny there.
He's a great player. You want me to hold a better hand?
You folded a better hand?
Yeah. Change, man. Well, I don't know.
Gary gets a walk, which I'm sure he's very happy about.
My friend. Give me my friend back.
Hey, ace king. I fold ace queen.
That's atrocious. You're not folding.
Still a lot of smiles out here. Love to see it. Oh, little wave to the camera there. Bernard Vu. Cheeky monkey.
Okay, now ace queen. This is like the ace queen.
I love it.
Like
You
he's
know,
having a good time.
Big Leah, when I imagine myself making it to sort of a PokerStars televised / streamed final table, I know it's a wild dream. I like to imagine that I'd just be a cool customer, you know, look kind of cool, little wave, little nod to the camera, you know, make some really good content. I think I'd just be so scared. I would just crumble, probably in tears, you know, just sweats. Is
Too
he
much
sweating or is he
pressure.
crying or is it both?
Yeah, I think I'd be the same. It would definitely have to avoid a white T-shirt for the occasion.
It is somewhat hilarious. I've been around the European Poker Tour and similar events, NAPT, etc., for many years now, having spent so little time in the actual tournaments themselves. It's brilliant. Brilliant. I feel very blessed.
It is good to experience the environment, regardless of playing or not. Although obviously you want to be playing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So to the flop we go. Does Gary just want to stab flop? Ace 9 deuce. Yep, that's what it looks like. Yeah, this seems like a very natural behavior on this texture. Bernard Vu's got 2 pair here. Now, unlike the previous situation where we saw the 2-pair for the 10-5 from Seiji, I actually think that playing this one slower is better because your opponent is much more skewed to not having a hand here than actually having a combination you get value from. But let's see how Bernard feels. Yeah, pumps it up right here, right now. So on Ace-9 Deuce, there's just not many draws. It's a very, very dry texture, we might say. And also, when Gary does not put more chips in the middle here pre-flop, he's unlikely to have an ace in his hand quite often. And therefore, allowing him to continue to bluff or perhaps allowing one of his more deceptive limps, you know, maybe he did sneak in a limp there with a hand like Ace-King or something, allowing them to sort of go for value and just barrel off into a very disguised 2-pair. In the previous spot, when we saw Seiji versus Bernard, and Bernard led into 2 players, it's a spot where they're going to have a lot more, you know, made hands / hands that are going to enjoy seeing another card for a raise, and therefore I think the elevation is more justified. But here we see the raise and the take it. There's a good chance that we're not going to see another barrel here from the small blind, so we'll never know. But we're going to get on to the next one now. King 10 suited for Florencio.
Bumps it up from under the gun.
So expensive.
Seiji doesn't want to get funky with the 3 deuce.
Yep, no movement. We have snuck into the money, guys, but obviously big pay jumps ahead. That's the next mission, is to try and find ladders. It's about a 10K pay jump between 4th and 3rd for looking at US dollars.
Florencio's been chipping up nicely. He must be a similar sort of stack size to Bernard now. Leaving Gary there with the short stack. As he picks up the ace queen, lovely.
$240.
Ooh, exactamundo, 240K.
240.
Yeah, I like it. And just goes to show you the finesse here. Gary Thompson, experienced player. He knows exactly the amount of his stack he wants to leverage in this spot, and it's very, very nice. Leaves himself that 80K behind. We've seen this move once before. It's sort of effective all in, but leaving, you know, a couple bigs to battle with if it goes wrong.
I was just making you sad. That's right.
Takes it down with no opposition.
Before the all 3 of us go in, yeah?
Yeah, that would be very, very, very nice. Very happy that happens.
Huh?
It happens all the time.
So 9-6 suited on the button. This definitely feels like it's in the Seiji's range. You got all the chippers. Put some in. Oh!
Did he shove?
I said some of the chippers. He's going to put in all of the chippers, and I really like this from Seiji. I don't even know if it's correct, quote unquote, or not, but I like the power poker. It feels so bossy. And honestly, it's a good combination to deal with, I think, probably. Just really, really putting these guys in ICM hell. One of those individuals, of course, is not going to feel the squeeze as much. Our shortest stack there was one of the players getting pushed into, but that means that the player in between is going to be feeling particularly snug. In this case, it was our Filipino contender, Florencio, the player with more to lose there than Gary Thompson.
Seems like a pretty easy decision to
I feel
fold
like I might have
there, though.
met Gary before. At least I would have seen him play, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've like cashed every single event I play. I have to PLO, which kind of says something on my PLO play.
Yeah, to be fair, you're allowed not to cash that one.
King Queen suited. Sorry, King Queen offsuit. The Great Danson saying 4 of 19 means the starting field was 19. Correct. This is the super high roller, so larger buy-in. Did not get as many runners as, of course, our main event, for example. And we're down to the final 4. We're playing to a winner today, Mr. Danton. Bernard Vu definitely could defend the 10-8 here. Let's see how he feels. Does call.
And it does.
I mean, in particular, I would imagine theoretically the 10-8 is going to be fine, especially when you imagine how wide Seiji has been willing to open thus far. It's going to be palpable at the table as well, Liam. I think players will have a pretty strong sense of the fact he's playing a wide range.
Yeah, he has been very aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem with 10-8 is it is a hand that is dominated by the opening range there quite frequently, but again, with the adjustment versus actual IRL range we see from Seiji. So a check again, an improver for Bernard, but not good enough to give him the best hand yet. And now we're going to start betting. This is, again, that pattern we saw before, Liam, that sort of missed bet on ace, king, deuce. Does start to feel a little bit heavy, a little bit value heavy.
Yeah.
It's just a board I think that Seiji is going to happily bet with everything that hasn't connected. So when we start checking, it does just end up being quite a few of hands like this, some aces, some king X, maybe even queens or something like that. But the thing about betting with king queen on this texture is we're still very likely to get action from worse kings. We should theoretically still get action from some deuces. We should definitely get action from hearts, which we're unblocking with the king queen with no heart. And I think there's an opportunity just to try and get max value from those exact combos right there, rather than having a check, giving those a free card, and then also sort of developing a somewhat unbalanced c-betting strategy.
My feeling tell me something.
No harm, no foul anyway. It does take it down.
Follow your instinct is the best. Always follow your instinct.
This stack is slowly creeping up.
Yeah, so far, Gary Thompson has been navigating that short stack well. Definitely handcuffs are off to a certain degree. Once we're in the money now, he's going to be much more willing to push his weight around.
Yeah, and he's still a little bit of distance off the other two stacks in the middle as well. So
yeah,
he's got to try something, I guess.
How is the hand? You play the hand? Yeah. It makes sense. I'm behind.
It's logical.
Are we going to be seeing you in Barcelona this year, Mr. Lee?
I really hope so. I'm unsure as of yet.
Not locked in yet. Fair enough.
I'm hoping to get on the plane over there. It was a great time last year.
How about Women's Summer Festival?
I potentially might be coming down for a day.
Nice. Are you going to get a chance to play in the 50-50 by any chance?
I was hoping to come down and play. Probably not in the Women's Festival as I don't qualify, but
well, you can play in the 50-50. That's part of the Women's Festival. That's the 50% of the field men, 50% of the field women.
Ask them if they're gonna.
I would need the other 50%.
There's plenty of the other 50%. There's always, in fact, last year the issue was that we needed more lads to come and join the party.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
They moved it to
they
tomorrow.
were
That's only-
they were canvassing for gentlemen to come and play so that we could fill the whole stage. It's great.
Yeah, million.
I will bear that in mind.
Yeah.
I might have to come down.
No guarantee.
Yeah, no, you like bounty.
I like guarantee.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, so
day?
we got that event coming up, guys. If you are interested, Women's Summer Festival. I keep wanting to say Winter Festival. Women's Summer Festival coming up mid-August, excuse me, and then end of August, of course, the big, the bad Barcelona.
Raise D6.
This time, just the open from the 9-6 suited.
60. 60. 60.
You always say the first number.
Sorry.
It's okay. No.
60.
Now we understand.
60,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Raised to 60. A little bit of confusion there.
60K. 60K.
60K. It's okay. 60K or 60,000.
Florencio defending again.
Oh, okay. Not the worst flop for the JT.
How much? Cheval. You push it. Hot.
Does decide to bet Queen 9-7.
Quick call there from Florencio.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a great combo to stick around with. I mean, outside of actually just improving to a jack or a 10 or a straight, you know, sometimes if it comes like the deuce of diamonds or something, we could have a little bluff at it if it feels correct. You know, making it slightly less likely our opponent has the made diamond flush. But as played, the 9-6 just takes it to showdown, wins this one. The rich get richer, Big Liam.
That's normally how it works.
Let's not get political, all right, Liam? Just chill over there. Just chill.
Thanks for educating the viewers.
But yeah, really increasing his stack now over the rest of the field.
Austerity everywhere. You can't escape it. It's unbelievable, really, honestly.
It's possible, but it's possible.
Don't do one have like ace jack. Don't do one have like ace jack again. Happy.
Seiji picking up a nice one to raise here. Ace 10 of diamonds on the button.
Perfect.
John Delano says that chip stack has developed its own gravitational pull. Like the fake moon, John? Is that what you're saying? Flat Earth denier John Delano? All right, on the flop. 9 deuce 6. Gary Thompson flops at best. Does Seiji want to have a little bet on 6 deuce 9?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Tax the rich. Just kidding. Ace on the turn. Now, don't get too trappy now, Seiji. The bet on the turn is going to look good.
120K.
Oh,
120. Yeah.
Is it 220?
and actually, perhaps a little bit of
Japan style.
a different style. You know, previously happy to just put chips in without announcing. In this case, announced kind of jovially announced that he was going to be betting the turn, announced the size. And is going to put Gary Thompson all in. Or effectively all in. Bets 220, enough to cover Gary Thompson.
He knew what he was doing with that size.
Yeah. This is a rough spot. The ace kind of a fairly obvious card to perhaps bluff. Was there something in the way that that was delivered that is going to get Gary to call? He definitely, he's definitely got a tough spot to think about here.
Yeah, and Seiji's been up to it this whole time as well, hasn't he? So that probably just adds to the toughness of the decision.
Oh, and he's talking now. He says, I feel like I'm slow rolling. It's like the best hand I've ever had, he says.
Don't do it, Gary. No one who talks while they've got that sort of bet in there is ever bluffing.
Oh, makes the call, and he's miles behind on this occasion. Look, it's understandable. It is definitely a spot where Jack 9 is going to have the best.
220, exactly.
Have the best of it a lot of the time. On this occasion, he's going to need to improve or he will be eliminated in 4th position here in Manila. So on the turn, we have one card to see. Dela, deliver the news. Is it going to be good news for the Jack 9? Is it going to be bad news for Gary Thompson? Is it going to be great news for Seiji? The river is the 6 of spades. GG's to Gary Thompson. Played a very strong game. It came in as the shortest stack, final 4 in the money.
Yep, see it.
Yeah, high fives all around, and that is going to be a 4th place finish for the Irishman. 4th place finish, $20,300, or the equivalent in pesos here in Manila. Down to the final 3, Mr. Liam.
Indeed, and Seiji's stack continues to grow. Look at him piling them all up. Loving life.
Loving life. Now stacked in 20s.
Very neat.
Just very aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, he's mixing it up. Look, he's going for 5s on top of the 20s.
Yeah. Okay, so final 3. We'll take a look at chip counts in a moment, guys. But Ace Queen on the button, which is now under the gun, which is now UG for some unknown reason. No, he is the first player to act, therefore under the gun, but also on the button as we're 3-handed, guys. And there will be one larger stack and one much shorter stack. The shorter stack is to his direct left. I think he announced call. Okay, interesting. So Florencio is the shortest of the 3, but not by much. Similarly stacked to Bernard Vu, excuse me. And 7 for 8. Seiji still with the best hand. Seven of diamonds on the turn. And an opportunity for Bernard to start making moves, turning the 10 deuce into a bluff here. Now, if I'm Seiji and I'm not betting this flop, I'm certainly not folding the turn. And especially on these paired turns, you're just going to end up having the best hand. A lot of the time, you're obviously going to be up against complete air balls like this. You're going to be up against like a 5x, a 6x, spades, maybe a hand like 9-10, maybe a hand like 6-9. Sticking around. River is the king of hearts.
Wonder if Bernard will give up here or try go for it.
Yeah, it's probably not the most enticing river bet, right? The king of hearts probably, it feels like a bit of a slowdown if your opponent plays their hand this way. They have ace queen. I guess ace king is probably not completely ridiculous, or king queen or something like that. I think Seiji probably just knows to get to showdown here. I don't think betting with ace queen makes too much sense. We're just going to be beating so much of that range that I just described. I don't know if we need to turn a hand this strong into a bluff on the river. He seems to disagree.
It seems like any decision he has, he takes the aggressive route.
Yep, and honestly, that's usually a good strategy in Texas Hold'em. Had this discussion recently with a well-known poker coach, and I'm sort of saying, you know, what's the hardest thing about coaching? And they said actually making more passive players aggressive is very difficult. They'd rather start with a overly aggressive student and then teach them to dial it back, because it's not necessarily the majority of people do not have that aggressive bone sort of naturally. It's something that needs to be coached. But if they find the crazy people to begin with, it's easier to get them to be less crazy than it is to teach the more passive players to be more crazy. Anyway, nice pot, and the rich get richer once again.
The gravitational pull of the stack doing its thing.
Gravity isn't real. Birds aren't real. Isaac Newton was a psyop. Thank you, Curling Master. Official medical term, perhaps. Also found on Urban Dictionary. So a limp in the small blind from the 5 tray of clubs. Seiji deciding if he wants to elevate. I would say elevate ATC here, buddy. Just go absolutely mad.
Raise to 75K.
Raise to 75K. Oh, he's absolutely bossing it. He's absolutely crushing it right now. Seiji can do no wrong.
It can't be stopped.
That's it. Hey, love to write. Thank you for the 79 months subscription. You crazy, crazy person. 79 months. I don't even know how many years that is. There's a look at the chip counts, guys. And as you might anticipate, the Japanese Seiji Kikuoka is absolutely bossing it. 2 players, sub 30 effective, sub 25 in fact. and everything to play for. At the moment, it's looking like a runaway for the Japanese player. And if he keeps up this aggression, he will start putting these players in the danger zone. Stick around. We're playing down to a winner tonight. Don't go anywhere. Lock it in. Suddenly the tone a little bit more serious, a little bit more somber. These guys are definitely fearing the pay jumps now.
Seems like they need more wine.
Where is the sake when you need it? Have you ever had sake before, Liam?
I have, yeah. I do enjoy a glass of sake.
I have had very mixed experiences with sake. I've had sake and I thought, why would you ever drink this? I've had sake and I thought that was delicious. I should have this more often. I don't know what it is to have good sake, so I don't really know if I'm the, you know how some people are like, oh, I love a whiskey, and they just like they have awful taste in whiskey, right? I don't know if I'm that guy or if actually I'm just really, really posh and I'm just drinking the good stuff and I'm thinking that's the nice one.
Have you tried many before, or?
I feel like I've had sake on 3 occasions, and one of them I disliked, one of them I really liked, and one of them I was indifferent. So who knows?
I hope you took note of the one you liked.
I did not. I guess more experimentation required. 2 pair now for Bernard Vu.
For once, Seiji isn't in the pot.
Yeah. Looks like he stepped away for a moment. Trappy.
Oh, boat's up.
That is a boat. I actually don't hate the check on this flop as much as I have the previous ones from Seiji. On the Ace-King X boards, I feel like King-4 Deuce, you're still allowed to have quite a few checks on the FT, more so than on Ace-King X to remain balanced. And on the turn, we got to start putting chips in. Goes for 30K. Yeah, just the takedown. Jack 5 doesn't have many options. Again, there's a question mark on that turn sizing, Liam. I think that, again, even though it just feels like you've got so much of the board you're never going to get paid, if we think about the kinds of hands that do call, it's probably just going to be like A5, maybe A-King, and then maybe the hearts, the diamonds or whatever the flush draw was in the turn. So, again, I wonder if we do have a check on the flop, if we have a size up on the turn to try and get max from those, albeit slim value combos or, draws.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there we go.
I think he was just trying to entice a call there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just trying to get a call at all costs, which I understand completely. And another one for further investigation in the lab later on.
He's had his break. I'm sure he'll be back in this hand.
Seiji. Ace-5 suiting. Gonna go ahead and open it up. What's the play with the KT? All right, turning it into a 3-bet.
How much?
And now a decision point here for Seiji. Does have a hand that might technically sneak into a call. But again, it's going to be so sensitive to how frequently Florencio has 3-bet bluffs. I would argue King 10 off is going to be a 3-bet bluff from this position.
Yeah, it's probably at the bottom of what he'll be 3-betting.
Yeah, and look, it has a lot of. It's a nice playable hand. It has a lot of the. Oh, there you go. That's the response. Get back in your box, he says, and is just gonna bang it in as a 4-bet jam. I understand where Florencio is going with this for sure. 100%, I can see it. I do think that there is an opportunity just to have KT as a call there as well. But as played, yeah, it just gets pushed out of the pot.
Mm.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a tricky one, guys, because King 10 is a nice hand. It's not like it's the weakest part of his range that he 3-bets, but it is a kind of hand that I think probably is trying to inspire more folds than calls from that position. So there we go.
Yeah, and when you know Seiji's been overly aggressive this whole final table, it's probably more cause to try and push him out. See if he's up to funny business.
Yeah, and so strong there from Seiji. Ace-5 suited, of course, the artisanal sourdough that we like to talk about on our APT streams and beyond is just one of those combos that is supposed to be in that 4-bet bluff range, at least some of the time.
You say?
Ships it with the Queen Jack off.
Yep, and we're looking at about 13 bigs, 14 bigs. Wow, on the final table now, Ace-6.
1-5, yeah.
So for chips, this probably does sneak into a calling range, or there it's going to be really close at least. With ICM, I'm not sure if this is going to be good enough to call. So he's going to have a little think here. The other aspect of this as well, Liam, is, making a fold here and allowing Florencio to remain in play as the shortest stack does have a certain benefit as well, right? It means you can kind of lean on the second and chips a little bit more. He's going to have a little bit more to lose from an ICM perspective. Does make the call. And is putting the chips in good, but we will see there, guys. It's an effective flip, 56% to 44. And if we see a hold here from Seiji, this would be a monstrous chip lead going into the heads up. Florencio at risk here. The last remaining Filipino here in Manila in the super high roller. Wish you some good luck. Let's go to a flop. Dila. 8, 7, 10. Not the worst start for the Queen Jack, Liam.
No.
It's about the turn, though.
All right, to the turn we go. It is the Jack. Big
Lovely.
swing in favor of Florencio.
Just got to fade the 3 aces.
That's right. And to the river. It is the 4 of clubs. So a double for Florencio, and we'll be very, very pleased about that outcome. Puts him in much better contention for the overall tournament now. 'Tis only a scratch for our chip leader, but still is going to have an impact on how the tournament plays out from here, particularly in the Dynamics 3-handed.
Yeah, Florencio feeling a little bit more comfortable after that, I'm sure.
We'll take a look at the actual chip count in just a moment. Didn't quite spot the total double up. But play continues 3-handed. And in a moment, we'll see how much of a dent that was to our chip leader stack. I think he had absolute mountains.
Hindi kasama to. Len.
Yeah, I think he's still over 3 mil.
Yeah, so there you go. 690 for Bernard Vu. It's about 23 big blinds. And what's the stack here?
Ay, dito ka muna. Sorry.
Yeah, 3.2 million. Has ace queen. Is going to raise it up. This time has the goods. Oh, that was a big pickup there for Florencio. Now second in chips, in fact.
Mm.
Yep, 815K. So about 200K more than Bernard Vu. Does call. We're going to a flop now. 4-4 tray. So on 4 tray 4, I feel like ace queen can go either way. A little check, little bet would be probably fine. I think we could probably argue Florencio will have more 4x here than Seiji having being in the raise call spot pre-flop, but that's not to say that Seiji's range can't be wide here as well. Both players check regardless.
I mean, from what we've seen of Seiji, I wouldn't be surprised if he had loads of fours in his range.
Yeah, absolutely. And rightly so, as the chip leader. I think once your opponent checks this turn, though, Florencio is understanding that we need to start bluffing to win the pot. It's so hard for Seiji to have a hand that is not ace high or better once he checks flop and turn here. I mean, at the very least, he's going to have maybe like a hand like king queen, which of course we're not beating at the moment with the king 6. And Seiji probably does need to call turn here. I don't think we can play our hand in this fashion and then not turn up on the river with this combo. It's way too high up in our range. Easy game. Just drill the ace.
Must be nice.
It's very nice indeed for Seiji. Just simplifies the whole equation. And now, how do we proceed? Little pause here.
Check.
Very loud check.
Sneaky check.
Sneaky check indeed, he says. Yep, there you go.
Sneaky check. Smart man.
Very nice of Florencio to give a partial refund from the hand before.
Yeah, nice spot there for our chip leader.
That's for you.
Was winning on the turn as well.
Yeah, that's.
Back to the Thunderdome. We got the chip counts here, guys. So after that exchange, Florencio, Bernard, very evenly stacked once again, 25 bigs each or thereabouts. 111 big blinds for Seiji Kikuoka. Still absolutely monstrous. More than 100 big blinds on a final table is always a rare treat. This time ace-9 on the button. Both players, as we saw in the big blind, around 25 bigs. So I think we're fine just to go ahead and continue raising here. I don't think we want to start thinking about pushing just yet. Not shallow enough to turn ace-9 into just the power jam. Quick fold from the ace-5. I think probably there's an argument that we could do something there if we felt spicy. We've already discussed how aggressive Seiji has been from the button thus far. And for that reason, you know, anything with an ace blocker might potentially have some bluff ability.
Seiji just dragging the blinds in there.
Yeah, hard to say how long these guys have been playing. It was only a field of 19. I do believe this was a 2-day event. Could be wrong, though. Be surprised if it wasn't, though, as the super high roller. And nearing the business end here, these pay jumps are where it's all at. Feels good to be playing in a field of 19, of course. Feels like the end is in sight immediately from the start of the tournament, but there's always a trade-off. Just means we have fewer payouts and obviously more heavily stacked first place.
Maybe.
So much of the value locked up in there.
Di ba pag 300 siya, time? Hindi na ganun dahil sa ilang hands na. Planong ganun.
Seiji never without an ace here. He might decide just to push this one, though.
Last time na to.
This might be a power jam.
Raise to Eric.
No, just going to play it as a raise. Now, Bernard might limp jam this one. Ace-9 is actually a really cute limp jam versus the chip leader who's been aggressive. But also, Bernard has been slightly more passive in his style, might just have a call instead. The issue is that Ace-9 is not a particularly playable hand from out of position. It's not the worst, but it's tricky. Ace-9 suited, of course, infinitely more playable through the streets. Yeah, that's my guy. Love to see it. Love to see it. This is my preferred line for sure, and Bernard is absolutely stomping it.
Yeah, puts it back in Seiji's face.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Very, very good move. I am loving these split screens. I think we should definitely get these going for the EPTs, guys.
Yeah, it's great.
Tom, take a screenshot. Send it to James. Let's make it a reality. Raksha, take a screenshot. Straight to Francine. Marked important. Urgent email incoming. Mandatory split screen for EPT Barcelona. Tom. Nick, take a screenshot. Straight to Curtis. Uncle Curtis would love that, and you know he would. You know he would love that. Perfect, mate. And, yeah, I applaud this move. This is just great stuff. Did not fall in the trap of playing it passively, just went for it. I would say Ace-Queen is borderline a value gem there against the super aggressive ISO range that we've seen from Seiji so far. And with second and third being so similarly stacked, I don't think there's really too much adjustment in our strategy there from an ICM perspective, because really we're in a very similar scenario. Raksha saying those chairs look really comfy. They do, don't they? They treat you right in Manila. But doing it wrong. I'm headed to the APPT, guys.
Comfy chairs, and you get to see the clouds.
And you get the clouds, and you get panoramic views of Manila Bay, and confirmation that the Earth is flat. It's just, it's all there. It's all there.
I'm genuinely starting to worry that you believe the Earth is flat, Nick, unfortunately.
if we've learned nothing else from Manila 2025. What's your favorite APT stop so far?
Oh, I think Prague from last year was pretty good.
Love a Prague.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing the Prague City in December is very nice with the Christmas markets.
Oh yeah, it's truly, truly lovely. Speaking of EPTs this year, we have EPT Malta joining the mix. Monte Carlo done, Barcelona in August, EPT Malta in October, as per usual. I was saying EPT Malta in October, and then EPT Prague as per usual in December. We have a question in the chat here. Jindu is asking, any 100K plus tournaments coming up? I believe we will have a 100K in Barcelona at the European Poker Tour Barcelona event in August. That's the 18th to the 31st. It will be towards the tail end. That might be a 50K. I think it is 100K, but you can check out the tournament schedule online. Thank you, Raksha. !live if you're on Twitch. You can check out upcoming live events at the link www.pokerstarslive.com. Curling Master confirms 100K super high roller in Barcelona is correct. So that will be a 100K in euros, of course, as we are in Barcelona. Today's event technically is over 100K. It's a 500K buy-in. It just happens to be Filipino pesos. Okay, on the river now. Florencio does have the best hand. Is the 4 good? I like Florencio's style so far. Definitely some really good poker coming from Team Filipino. Getting the money in the middle here. Yes, please. That is the second big call against Seiji that he's nailed there. And very, very cool spot for Florencio. That's correct, Smeeble. Big Lee's first commentary session with PokerStars. How do you feel, Big Lee?
I feel pretty good. Yeah, it's been fun and enjoyable.
How's the shed? Is it heating up still, or is it leveled out?
It's pretty warm in here. I'm not gonna lie, but that's fine. I'm used to it.
Oh, good. All right, so with that, we're going to say goodbye to Mr. Liam. Thank you for your stay here in the booth. I'm afraid we're going to have to send you back to the United Kingdom now. You're not allowed to stay in Manila anymore. You got to go home.
That's a shame.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, buddy. Thank you. Everybody claps in the chat, please, for Big Lee and his first appearance here on the PokerStars commentary. And I'll catch up with you soon, buddy. I'll send you a message later on. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me, Nick. Enjoy Manila.
Yep. See you, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Claps once more for Big Lee. Go check him out on Instagram. Up-and-coming content creator. In fact, prolific content creator for others, but is trying to build up his own profile. Big Lee on Instagram. He's made some really good poker content. And, yeah, we'll hope to see him soon. So it's going to be me and you guys. We're home alone. Don't tell the parents. We're going to play this out to a conclusion, as I said earlier, but it's going to be me and the audience, so keep me company, guys. Keep your questions coming. All in. That was quite the move. 8-4 offsuit, power poker. Wow, wow, wee, wah. That would be nice, Smeeble. Do we have a little link for Mr. Big Lee? I'm sure I could find one as well myself. Take a look at the old Insta. There it is. Thank you, Croaks. Instagram.com/Big Lee Poker. That's Big L-I. And as I said before, guys, tomorrow we will have more action from APPT in the penultimate day of the main event. I think we're going to have 2, possibly 3 special guests tomorrow. We'll see how we run. I think tomorrow's stream probably significantly longer, as we are going to play to the end of day. End of the penultimate day.
Nung isa, lamang na tayong konti.
So this time a call in the small blind. Bernard setting another trap here. Seiji not discouraged after the last encounter.
Lamang ako ng konti na.
Is going to raise versus limp. And again, Bernard might be tempted to just make the move. We are deeper stacked. That does make a big difference here in the way we approach it. I think probably theoretically a limp call is better with a7 suited here this time, as we are deeper stacked, and it is a combination that has much better playability. We do end up trapping hands like 6-7 suited, you know, maybe an 8-7 ISO as a bluff. Just decides to pump it instead, understandably so. Bernard Vu, excuse me, has decided just to really, really go for it now. We saw that big ISO jam just now with the 8 high. He's decided he's playing for the win now.
Ace?
And that will be the end of that. So would be interested to see chip counts. We can glean that in just a moment once we do another run around the table. But after those 2 limp jams, I do think that means we have seen Bernard Vu just sneak out in front. There you go, 23 big blinds, second in chips, only up by 1. And Seiji is still miles ahead. So 3x the next biggest stack. Something's got to give eventually. It does feel like they're playing for stacks a little bit more frequently now, 3-handed, especially with second and third being similarly stacked. 10-6 on the button, you'd assume is a fold. Pocket 3, Seiji might be tempted just to play this as a push. Will end up getting a lot more folds than usual, given the fact it's on the final table. I think he's looking at the clock. I think that's how he's deciding here. We saw just now it's about 23 bigs. 23 big blinds effective.
85.
Okay, just going to play it as a regular raise. I'd say that as we're above 30 big blinds of 20 big blinds effective, excuse me, I think that a limp here is probably fine. A steal not all in is probably fine. I think the jam is probably going to be okay too, but there are lots of other things to consider, as often it's going to be player dependent on the big blind. If they overfold to just standard raises, then the steal is going to be much safer, and you're probably going to win a lot more by just stealing not all in. If your opponents are a bit more competent, a bit more tricky, a little bit more aggressive, then the not all in might get you in more trouble. But instead, it's so much easier just to steal and flop a set. What do you guys think? Now, has managed to flop a set, is going to play it very trappy again. And this time, Florencio, just the 8-4 of hearts. And this time, is the trap going to work? Florencio fires straight into the set. The trays on tray king 7, the effective nuts here. Very rarely not going to be the best hand unless you've gotten very unlucky and you're set over set. And just playing it cool. This time it's looking great, and not only playing it cool, but Florencio finding another card to potentially barrel. Once you've bet this flop, not barreling the queen seems very, very challenging if you're Florencio. And I applaud the play. I do think this line makes sense. 8-4, starting out on the flop with some backdoor opportunities. Very little showdown, if any. I'd say almost zero. Probably absolute zero for being real. Is he going to lead the turn? Wow. This is an interesting way to approach it. Plays it trappy and then finds a lead, but he's done it perfectly on this occasion. Florencio picking up a draw. Can't fold for the 55K. That's such a small price on the turn. And the river is the king of hearts. The absolute cooler, guys. The backdoor hearts, the well-disguised flush for Florencio. He's going to think he's got the nuts here. He's going to think he's got a monster. And Seiji's hand is very well disguised as well. It's boat versus flush on the river, and I don't see how it's not going to end up all in here in some fashion. If Seiji keeps up this style, if he has a small size, Florencio is going to assume he has the best hand with the hearts. If he plays it trappy, Florencio is going to assume he has the best hand, put more chips in, and then probably be faced with an all-in, if not immediately already being all-in himself. Seiji playing an unusual line, but it's just absolutely perfect in this occasion. Seiji reaching for chips. He's going to start the move now. What's the size? 440K in the middle. Bets 275. So the only way that Florencio spares a few bucks is by calling. This was a raised pot pre-flop. He is losing to a king-queen. He is losing to queens full. I guess sevens full. I guess in this case we can see threes as part of that range as well. But is that enough to be concerned about, or are we just going to want to go for it? With the hearts coming in this fashion, and with this line,
275.
now the one saving grace is, does Seiji sometimes call the flop with, 8-7 of hearts? Oh, well, that's not possible. I don't know. How about a 9-7 of hearts? Check calls the flop, leads the turn small to try and get the hearts. Now he's there. Maybe that's alarm bells for Florencio. Maybe that lead ends up looking like a possible draw on the turn and he can spare some chips. I would say most of the time you just want to get the chips in here because you can get called by a lot worse. A lot worse indeed. All in. Seiji is thinking about it. I don't see any universe where you're ever going to fold a boat here. I think if we're folding boats on this run out, I think we're just giving up too often. It's very hard for us to be beat here. There's probably an argument that king-queen might have been played more aggressively pre-flop, and that's probably one of the most likely boats. Pocket sevens probably would have been all in pre-flop. Pocket queens and kings are pretty much out of the equation as well. So unless he's got king-queen, you're going to have the effective nuts here, and that will be GG for Florencio. He's shocked to see it as well. Brutal, brutal spot. That is a massive cooler, and the rich get significantly richer.
Yeah. Just go.
GG's. great showing here from Florencio Campomanes. Concludes and exits in third place, taking home $30,400 or the Filipino equivalent, which means we are heads up. And if history shows us anything, guys, I think there's a chance they're going to want to take a small break before we go to the heads up segment. See what they say, and we'll play it from there. For those of you asking in the chat if we are live, we are effectively live. We're watching a replay of Thursday night's action, but the commentary is live with you. There's a look at the chip counts going into the heads up. 96 big blinds to 23. Significant lead for Seiji Kikuoka. And just the question is, can we see a comeback, or is it going to go to the Japanese player with the chip lead? It looks like we're taking 15 minutes, guys. We'll see you back here in just a moment. Welcome back to Manila and the APPT 2025 Super High Roller, brought to you by PokerStars and Okada Manila Hotel and Casino. We are in Cove Manila, Southeast Asia's premier indoor beach club and nightclub. We're heads up now. Seiji versus Bernard. And there's a look at the chip counts. They've actually been amended from our previous graphic. 101 big blinds to 23, so even more of a lead than previously thought. As we return to the table, we're playing down to a winner tonight, and these are the prizes up for grabs. First place, 4.2 million Filipino pesos. Second, 2.64 million for the second place. That works out to be about $75,800 for first place and $45,400 for second. So let's get back to the table. Let's see what we're working with. These two are facing off not only for first place, but also for that lovely trophy that we will see in just a moment, I've no doubt. And what a great spot to play. There's a look at the bottom of the trophy. Can we see the top? There's the top. Great little pan shot. Love to see it. Very shiny indeed. You are joining us for the heads-up action in the enormous 9,000 square meter, 30-meter tall glass dome. This is a lovely venue adjacent to the Manila Bay. Has breathtaking views of sky and Manila Bay, I'm told. There you go. There's a look at the shard. That's what they're playing for. And Eternal Glory. Let's not forget about the Eternal Glory, guys. That's important. Nice little walk-around shot of this one. And I'm informed now that we are now also realigning the seating positions for players. When we rejoin the players, there they are. Blinds are 20K, 40K with 40K big blind ante. And they're just getting set up. So not quite ready to kick off. I'm sure we'll see cards in the air in just a moment. But we have managed to get these guys set opposite each other. For the sake of the production, we have the trophy center stage there. I love when the trophy's on the table and they're playing for it.
You have too much chips, man. I will help you.
And there's Seiji. This is Seiji Kikuoka. If you guys weren't here earlier, just a reminder, this guy only has $17,600 in live tournament earnings. And there's a look at Bernard Vu, French player, 1 recorded live cash. And there's the handshake. These two face off. A lot of respect between these two. Nice looking shot there as well. So it's Japan versus France here. These are the two, and there's the trophy. So it's about a 4-1 chip lead in favor of the Japanese player. Seiji on the right-hand side there.
Good luck, buddy.
Yes.
Seiji has basically been grinding a lot more recently. Started playing live poker tournaments in the last few years. Played events across Asia, Japan, Vietnam, Taiwan, Philippines.
Poker. Agree.
Just a min cash in this event would be enough to double his all-time earnings, but now he's here playing for it all, it would seem. Bernard Yu, just the 1 recorded cash, which was in the African Poker Series main event. Never even heard of the African Poker Series. Would love to check it out. That was held in Mauritius in 2017. He came forth for 5K and is now here absolutely smashing that out of the park. Both players guaranteed at least 45,400 USDs or the peso equivalent. So the dealer is shuffling. I think we're about to get back underway. We are in the 25 big blind effective zone going heads up. And for that reason, we could definitely see this either slugging it out or ending rather quickly. Both players definitely with the stack effectively to get in because we're playing about 25 big blinds effective. And we know that those ranges are certainly get-inable. Lock in, guys. The heads up begins now. Cards are in the air. And he's all in the very first hand. King 6 offsuit shoving into the 825K of Bernard Vu.
What do you drink on the break? It's so exciting.
What did you drink on the break? Why is this so exciting?
The problem is the soda. The whiskey is good, but the soda is not good.
No wine?
No, I asked many times no wine. Make me angry.
Bernard Vu asked many times, no, there's no wine in the building?
Yes.
We've got a Thunderdome. We've got no wine. This is outrageous.
I will stay here. I want to see when he bluff me. Why I cannot sit? No, but I need to see his face. And the trophy make me, I cannot see his face.
Okay.
I need to see everything of him.
A little swipe?
No, it's okay. You can stay like this. But the trophy,
Okay.
when I stay here, I cannot see you. And you bluff me so many times. I need to know, I need to know it.
Bernard Vu
But I
complaining he
just
doesn't have a view of his opponent around the trophy.
You hide? Okay.
Yes.
Energy is high in this room. I like this a lot. Friendly heads up. Feels good.
20.
Two players enjoying the game of poker. The fact there's no wine in the Thunderdome is pretty shocking, though, Chad. I got to be honest.
Oof. As king, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Where is your wife? Or your girlfriend?
I have so many.
But why?
You too?
No, my wife is here.
Oh.
Where
No,
he
no,
says,
no.
he says, "Where's your wife or your
I want my first
girlfriend?"
baby. Now I'm,
And Sage's
with
response
my man.
is, "I have so
Gentleman.
many."
Nice husband now.
Good.
What a flex on the TV table. Well, they know about each other now, buddy.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right, deuces. We did see the King-6 shove just now. I'm assuming he's going to keep going like this. I actually think the King-6 jam was probably a little bit too aggro for my game, personally. I think that's actually a big risk when we are that deep. But he's taken a few pots off him already. Does he just play the deuces the same?
Nine.
Nope. Just raises to 90K this time. Interestingly enough, I feel like the deuces are a better shove candidate than the King-6 offsuit that we saw previously. And actually, we're much shorter than we once were, too. So I think probably technically deuces is just a GTO jam, but Seiji's style has been working for him so far. Bernard Vu opts for the all-in. Actually, King-8 suited is a lovely 3-bet jam here. Now, this is part and parcel to why some of the smaller pairs are just a push, because we don't want to be exploited in this fashion. The deuces not only probably want more folds pre-flop, but also we neglect our opponents the opportunities to 3-bet jam with combinations like King-8 suited. Now, I don't know if King-8 is exactly the right combo, but there are definitely some suited King-X that wants to 3-bet jam at this stack depth, and I certainly don't think sneaking in King-8 suited is going to be that big of a mistake, if indeed not spot on exactly the combo that is going to slot in here.
No. I want to play a little more.
He wants to play a little more, he
What?
says.
It's so short.
Give me some chips. You have too much. You have more than quarter. I have 1 million, you have 4 million. Just give me a little.
No.
Just
no,
let
no,
her feel
no,
something.
no.
You have too much chips.
Restrided in the chat says, that's why I keep losing. I got one, but no
It's just
Thunderdome.
2 hands.
Yep.
No.
I mean, one or the other. It's hard to have both.
We make a nice poker.
You can have one, but you're not allowed a
I love
Thunderdome.
poker.
Me too.
I think you too, yeah.
You have to pay Omar. You have this kind of for Omar.
Can't afford a Thunderdome
Why
if you're drinking
don't
wine. Can't afford to drink wine if you buy a Thunderdome. It's just how it goes.
You have to pay Omar for small.
You play Baccarat too?
No, Baccarat, no.
No Baccarat. Yes, me too.
I'm unlucky guy.
Yeah. You're a lucky guy?
No, I'm unlucky. For Baccarat, I'm very unlucky.
You don't like underdog?
No, I don't like. I don't want to play this kind of.
Yeah.
On the button, Queen 3 offsuit. At about 19 big blinds effective, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, the call here for me is good. This is how I would approach it.
I'm out.
And the 10-3 offsuit. Seiji can do a little bit of everything. I think that there is probably some frequency of ISO as a bluff. There is probably maybe a 10 or 15% ISO, I guess. It's just my random stab there. And a lot of checking, of course. 10 tray is a pretty trashy hand. Queen tray is still the best of it. So no elevation on the flop. I think on the turn, Bernard Vu can do a little bit of everything. I'd say it's pretty uncommon to check top pair and then not bet the turn. But, you know, if the idea is that my opponent isn't really going to have much of anything on flop or turn, I think it's probably fine to sneak in a check on the turn as an exploit too. In this circumstance, just decides to go for 50K on the turn. And 10 tray, I imagine, will just sneak away. So a little pot going towards the shorter of the two stacks. Bernard Vu, so far, I think, has had a very strong final table. I like his style. He's got a good table presence. He's not giving much away. I think he's got a good poker face, too. Has been patient, picking his spots very well. A couple really aggressive lines as well. We saw some really sneaky stuff three-handed that I liked a lot. There you go. Take a screenshot now. There's a good-looking poker avatar photo. Arms folded, glasses on. Pocket eights for Seiji. Now, here's a spot where we can sneak in some traps. A little limpy limp from the eights here, I think, would be supremely strong. And I think we are exactly at the kind of stack depth where sneaking in limps with eights could be very good. Not only because we can trap shoves from much weaker hands, hands that we have dominated, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, maybe some offsuit ace combos that want to jam versus limp. But also, eights are a hand that have pretty good playability if our opponent does decide to check, and we can end up extracting value post-flop as well. This could be it, guys. There's a raise. I think Bernard Vu is going to be all in here, and it is probably going to be a fairly standard jam with most offsuit aces. So far, we've seen Bernard making the correct limp jam previously, blind v blind, when we were three-handed. Ace-9, I think, is a slam dunk jam at this stack depth. Let's see how he feels. There it is. I called it. He's all in. And Seiji should be calling this. Pocket eights is going to be very strong heads up at this stack depth. And we're in. This is a big decider, guys. Sorry, I thought that was a call from Seiji. I'm assuming the chips are going to go in here, but might have misspoke. The problem here is we just dominate so much. Our opponent's going to do this with all the smaller pairs. They're going to do this with weaker aces, including some aces we have dominated. Seiji has not called yet. I thought the dealer announced it.
One more. 900. Call.
Calls. And it's a flip, guys. It is a flip pre-flop to decide the super high roller here in Manila. The super high roller is going to be decided right here, right now. Does Bernard Vu double and the battle continues, or does Seiji hold and take home the trophy? Both players highly anticipating this one. Dealer, show us a flop. It is 7, Queen, Jack, 2 spades. That's no help for Bernard Vu outside of some potential backdoors. And the deuce of clubs, no help. It's going to have to be an ace or a 9 on the river for Bernard Vu to get the double and the battle to continue here. And the river. 4 of clubs, no improver. We have a winner. Seiji Kikuoka is going to take home the trophy, the first place finish here in Manila. So it's a second place finish for Bernard Vu, French player. This is his second live recorded cash. There's the victory. There's the victory dance from Seiji Kikuoka, who will take home first place. Let's talk cash, guys. Second place for Bernard Vu, $45,400. And $75,800 and the trophy going to our first place finisher. That is Seiji Kikuoka. And this will be his biggest cash to date. The same goes for Bernard Vu for that second place finish. Congratulations to both players. Very strong performance. And quite an exciting final table. A lot of interesting twists and turns.
Okay.
I believe we're going to have a trophy presentation in just a moment, guys. He's going to be over the moon about that outcome. Seiji, relatively new to tournament poker, and here he is on the main stage at Cove Manila in the Thunderdome, no less. He's walking off there. Get that trophy presentation underway. Give this man the trophy. There we are. There's the congratulations. And pick up your trophy. Let's celebrate. I wish we had some better audio here, but he's going to do this. He's going to do the sound effects for us.
Yeah. How much does it cost?
How much does this cost, he says. And there it is. There's the shot he was waiting for. You are the Super High Roller Champion this year, 2025, APPT Manila. Congratulations. Nice work. All right, guys. So that is our champion today, but there is more from the APPT this weekend, both tomorrow and Monday. We're covering main event, penultimate day, and the main event from Spraggy, final day on Monday. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a pleasure covering this event. We'll catch you guys throughout the weekend. Tomorrow, kickoff around midday UK, 12 o'clock UK time. Hope to see you guys then. I'm going to clock off for now, and I hope you guys will join us tomorrow. From Nicholas Walsh and also Mr. Big Liam for joining us. Thank you on the comms. Appreciate him too. It's good night from Manila.